1 year ago at the Coliseum in the Section 4AA quarterfinals, it was Ryan Forbes with the winner in overtime, Anoka 8, Champlin Park 7. This year, Anoka steamrolled Cooper in the quarterfinals, getting 6 saves for Mark Chevalier and 9 second-period goals on their way to a 14-1 rout. In the semifinals, another whitewash, as this time Osseo the victim, Tornadoes 7, Orioles nothing. Meanwhile, Champlin Park got stiffer tests, but passed with flying colors as they stopped Armstrong 3-1 in the quarters. And in the semifinals, it was the school's first victory over Blaine. Mike Dugan's breakaway goal tied it at 4, and Champlin Park went on to the upset, a 6-4 win over the Bengals. And now the Rebels must try and stop their arch rivals from Anoka. It's the Section 4AA final next. Come short-handed with Foley. Foley cutting right in. Powell with a save. Rebound, they score! A short-handed goal from Bobby Duster. And the Raiders throw. Works around George. Center. Fuller scores! Here's Parrish. Centers. Bianchi scores! Shot, save, Schroeder scores! It's the Rebels and the Tornadoes, a berth in the tournament on the line, and welcome to the Section 4AA final here on KABL. With Tarmo Kubitz, I'm Anthony LaPanta. We're glad you could join us for this grand finale in Section 4AA. The improbable run of the Rebels continued in the semifinals with a victory over Blaine. Todd Kelsenberg ends his career without a trip to the tournament, courtesy of a 6-goal barrage by the Rebels, their biggest offensive output since Christmas.
And certainly their biggest period in a long, long time was that third period, coming up with 4 goals. We kept talking about it's been this long since they scored 4 goals or 5 goals. They came back, they tied it, they went ahead and finished it off with the open net, and it gives them some good goal-scoring confidence because they may need some goals here tonight.
The Tornadoes have been scoring goals at a record pace, 21 of them in the first 2 rounds, a 14-1 win over Cooper, a 7-0 whitewashing of a pretty decent Osseo team in the semifinals. They've been led throughout the season by their top line, but it's been the second line in the postseason. Jared Reinholtz, Jake Froyland with 6 points apiece. That kind of balance makes them a dangerous team.
Well, it really does, because you just can't key on that one line, and it doesn't mean the other line went to sleep, because all they did was come up with 5 goals between Forbes and Coe the other night in the second round. But the other lines are clicking too, and when you have that kind of power, it's going to add up to 8 and 10 goal games, and that's what they're getting.
Well, perhaps the most electrifying player on the ice tonight will be wearing the uniform of the Rebels. Mike Dugan seems to have a knack for getting himself breakaways, and Keith, he made maybe the biggest play in that semifinal when he came out of the penalty box, stole the puck, and went in on a breakaway.
No better time for a big goal like that when the Rebels needed it most. That goal alone has propelled that team to this game. Just have to add one comment. These guys are absolutely on cloud 9 running by. They are hooting and hollering. They are just happy to be here.
Well, the Rebels will be trying to counter against one of the most awesome first lines that you'll find in the state anywhere. I'm talking about Forbes, Coe, and Hennis. These three have buried the Rebels in the past, including Ryan Forbes, game winner against them last year in the overtime.
Well, between them, they have about 50 goals on the season coming into the playoffs here, so they're a veteran group. They've been around here for 3 years now. Some of them are going on. John Coe going on to play hockey out east. There's a lot of talent there, and really something we could look at and say they should be in awe of these guys. But they have that neighborhood factor that I think we'll talk more and more about. These guys have known each other a long time, and I don't think the Rebel players are going to be too impressed by that.
And most of them have not only known each other, they play together throughout the youth programs because the schools hadn't separated yet at that time. Keith may have the best seat in the house throughout the night tonight. He'll be on the floor of the Coliseum, and he'll have a bird's eye view at Mark Chevalier in the first period. He was awesome against Osseo. Didn't have to face many shots, only 15, but he made some huge saves early.
Well, the way the Anoka Tornadoes have started off throughout sections after 2 games, they've outshot their opponents 93-22, and that's not a mistake. They are absolutely pummeling the opposing goaltenders with shots, so Chevalier was tested slightly, as much as you can be tested with only that many shots on goal.
On the other side, it might be the section's most exciting goaltender, Tim Ledeen. He takes the place now of Todd Kelsenberg as the man who can single-handedly bring his team to the tournament.
And his coach, Dave Notero, is not afraid to say that either. He said the other day, that's our horse that we ride right there. They know that they're going to get outshot in a lot of games, and still they come up and get a win, as you can see by the good record they've had so far this season. And he was certainly huge in that Blaine game. Several big saves in the third period held the Bengals off the board, and it gave the Rebels a chance to come back and get the win.
Well, this team finished third in the Twin Cities Suburban West during the regular season, and they did it with the conference's worst offense. Only Coon Rapids scored fewer goals in conference play this season. The Rebels didn't put the puck away very often. They did it just often enough and got some great goaltending. That powered them to a 6-6 mark in a tough league.
Well, they got the defense that they needed. You don't need the great offense. I think a lot of coaches will tell you they'll trade one for the other anytime because that defense will be consistent. If you look at their scores throughout the season, they've usually been in close games. 2 close games here against Anoka. They lost them both, but they were in both of those games. So they usually play well defensively. They broke down a few times against Blaine in the first couple of periods, and Blaine was able to come up with 4 goals in 2 periods. They need to play a little bit more consistently than they did in that game.
Well, and you talk about the close games, that's one of the biggest attributes for this Anoka team. They've found a way to win them all year. They are 6-0-2 in overtime games. They are 10-1-2 in games decided by 1 goal. That's a big factor in their favor. And Keith, the other side of it is, many of these players were on the ice 2 seasons ago in a section final, fell short against Elk River. They know what it takes to win a game like this. They don't want to be 1 game short once again.
Well, there's one thing for sure about tonight's game. Both teams come in having something to prove. The Rebels come into this game. They want to prove that it wasn't correct to be seated number 7th in their section. They're in the championship game. They've already proved some of the people wrong. They want to go 1 step farther, and they've suffered 2 tough losses, close games against Anoka earlier this year. On the other hand, like you just started to touch on, these Anoka Tornadoes have been plagued with the label of potential for the number of years. And potential means they really haven't lived up to what everybody thought, the talent they had on their team that they could do. They fell short the last 2 years. It seems as though the team has really gelled this year, and they're playing some outstanding hockey.
One of the first things John Berencott told me today, he said, hey, I took over this season, an easy task, a ton of talent. All I needed to do was turn them from underachievers to overachievers. He may have done that. They've won the close ones. The Rebels will be looking for the first win in 3 meetings. The Tornadoes try and sweep the season series. Stay with us. We'll drop the puck on this Section 4AA final when we come back. This is Section 4AA hockey on KABL.
I'm a much better skier after seeing this video only once.
It reinforces your good habits and it helps you correct your bad habits.
It helped me get through the mogul field.
It made my turns stronger.
You can practice it in your own living room. I learned from it.
Introducing the video that's guaranteed to make you a better skier. It's called Perfect Form, featuring Jean-Claude Keeley, and it's free with Snow Country magazine.
Snow Country is a multi-dimensional magazine. It talks about snowboarding, hiking, cross-country skiing,
Canoeing,
biking, the best resorts for your dollar,
the best equipment, the best prices.
Whether it's spring, summer, or fall, Snow Country is a mountain of fun all year long.
if you're a summer person, if you're a winter person, it'll show you how to take advantage of the outdoors.
So call 800-334-9100. Get your first issue of Snow Country risk-free. Call right now and we'll send you the Follow Me Mountain Guide and our ski equipment guide absolutely free.
I can't imagine anybody reading Snow Country and not wanting to be an outdoor person after reading it.
I think the first copy of Snow Country that comes across your desk will make you want to subscribe.
On your mark.
Things are going to change.
Set.
Battle stations.
Go.
This is where it starts.
Your move, your lifetime.
Meredith Cable, Channel 24.
I'm gonna raise a fuss, I'm gonna raise a holler. Well, I'm standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona.
So tell me why haven't I?
You know I'm a sucker, babe. What the cowgirls do.
The Tornadoes lead the all-time series against the Rebels 5-2-0, but interestingly, Tarmo, last year they were swept in the regular season series by Champlin and then turned the favor by beating them in overtime in the quarterfinals right here at the Coliseum.
And most of the Tornadoes from last year's team are on this year's team, and they remember that sweep. It was pretty embarrassing to them last year to have the young upstarts in just their second season come up and beat them twice. I'm sure that's been on their mind in both the regular season games this year, and I doubt if it's really totally gone away here. May in fact be another little incentive and a little reminder to take this team seriously, because they can remember a pair of losses just 1 year ago.
Just about set to face things off on this Section 4 AA final. It's the first ever berth in a Section final for Champlin. Anoka trying to advance to the third state tournament in school history, the first since 1990. John Coe backhands it into the Rebel zone. Semling plays it out to center. Rink-wide pass intercepted by Hennis. Hennis carries into the Champlin zone. Hennis to the slot. Had it stripped away by Semling, and it pops up and out of play. We'll get a face-off in the Rebel zone. We're just getting started here on this section championship. 23 seconds in, the Rebels and the Tornadoes.
Semling, one of the players to watch here on this Champlin Park team, number 22, big, strong defenseman. Does a lot of hitting, good defensive player, but also came up with a huge goal by fighting off a couple of checkers from Blaine, breaking through off the boards and coming in and scoring a goal that started the third period barrage for the Rebels in the semifinal game.
Big key tonight may be the special teams and who gets power play chances. The Tornadoes, incredibly, did not put themselves in a shorthanded situation against Osseo in the semifinals. And perhaps more amazingly about that, Tarmo, is they got 6 man advantage opportunities.
Well, as we talked about in that game, the marble theory got thrown out the window, but strange things can happen when you're dominating a game. I think everything's going to be a little bit more even here tonight.
Puck comes out to center. Curtis tries to poke it past Bender. Bender took it away. It's hammered back in, and when it's gloved by Chevalier, it creates an offside whistle. Face-off comes in the neutral zone. This year's meetings were very competitive. The first, an overtime game won by the Tornadoes 5-4, and in the rematch, they nipped the Rebels a second time, 3-1. And as I mentioned, all told, Anoka leads the all-time series 5-2. They've been competitive games. Only 2 of them decided by more than 2 goals. One of them a 3-0 win for Anoka in the first meeting ever between the schools. The other an 8-4 Rebel win last year. Face-off again will come in the neutral zone. Draw controlled by the Tornadoes. Rickley tried to walk through a check but couldn't do it. Rebels play it in. Puck pops loose. Here's a shot. It rolls in on Chevalier. He had to kick it aside. A good chance for Dugan. He partially fanned on it, and it fooled Chevalier for a moment. Here come the Tornadoes to center. Backhand pass tipped ahead by Froyland. Steaming in, a shot, saved by Ledeen. He has the game's first tough chance, but he stopped Mike Braun. Goes behind the Champlin net. Jokic back to pick it up. Leaves it behind the net for Rickerson, who leads the breakout with a pass up the left wing. Now the Tornadoes turn it back. Dan Donnett, who had a pair of goals in the quarterfinal win over Cooper, dumps it into the Rebel zone. Rickerson back to pick it up. Plays it around to the near side for Jokic. Clear to the line, but not out. Loose puck in the slot. A backhand. Ledeen stopped it. Reinholtz plays it to the point to Bender. A drive. Save Ledeen, and he hangs on. We'll get a face-off in the Rebel zone. We've played nearly 2 minutes, and the game's first good chance goes to Anoka.
Froyland was right there on the doorstep. Ledeen very alert. One thing you'll see about him as a goaltender, he's very good with his rebounds, keeping them close. That time he didn't give it up, because had he done so, Froyland was right there, would have been able to put it behind him.
Here come the Rebels to center. Stevens across the line, lost control of it. It comes back out to Rippey. Rippey, who was whistled for playing with an illegal stick against Blaine. Sure, he has a new piece of lumber tonight.
And you're sure it's been checked beforehand, right?
I have a feeling that Mr. Natero may have taken a look at it tonight. Into the Rebel zone. Jared Reinholtz fell. Slam back in. The Tornadoes have to retouch. And the Rebels go back to pick up. Semling. Long pass through the neutral zone, intercepted by Barincott. Coe back to pick it up. Left wing pass to Barr for Hennis. Hennis tracks it down. Ridden off by Rippey. Back of the net. Forbes centers. Coe scores!
Two players we talked about in the pregame that worked together so well. Forbes and Hennis were behind the net as soon as they were there. Found a spot just to the right of the goaltender, and the mistake by the Rebels was they didn't pick him up. They were chasing the puck behind the net and off to the sides. Cole was all alone, took a quick one-time shot. Take a look here. Forbes takes his time, looks first, and very quickly Cole lets it go, puts it away for a goal. Watch here again. Kenneth back there with Forbes. He comes away with it. There's the pass. Cole is left alone by the Rebels, and he makes them pay.
For 2 seasons, former Anoka head coach Greg Rajanen warned us about how dangerous Ryan Forbes was behind the net. He shows why right there, and John Coe picks up his 20th goal of the year. Tornadoes in front, 1-0. Here's Curtis, splits the defense, sailing in. Chevalier stopped him. Rebound to goal!
The best thing a young underdog team can do when you've given up a goal, get your confidence back, get one at the other end. That time Curtis led the rush in, managed to play it up even with the defenseman just poking towards the net. Chevalier had to play it out of there. Following up the play for Champlin Park was Sawicki. He had his stick down, just poked at it. The puck went into the net just as the players did, but the referee was right there, called the goal.
Watch it again right here, and you see Sawicki. There was a penalty coming against Anoka. And as Chevalier was slammed into his own net, Sawicki hammers the rebound home. And the Rebels take just 38 seconds to answer. Number 4 on the year for Sawicki. Curtis and Goodrich get assists. Back come the Tornadoes. Braun fires. It goes wide. Justin Reinholtz kept it in for a moment. Dugan tried to clear. Tornadoes maintain the zone. Ledeen will get a face-off and slow us down. Keith Ebensteiner's down on the floor of the Coliseum tonight. Keith, directly on the goal line. You had to have a great look at the rebound goal by Sawicki.
And just as good a view as Chevalier did, but I'm glad I wasn't in his skates on that one. He got crushed into his own net. Sawicki was there, jumped all over the rebound and buried it into the net. There was so much confusion out front that it was actually hard to find the puck in the net.
Off the draw, Tornadoes play it in. Reinholtz wraps it around behind the net. Rippey is there, spins to avoid Rickley's check. Rickley now got it back. Rippey bumps with him. Loose puck is backhanded out front, knocked down with a high stick by Semling. And Braun had a point-blank chance that Ledeen gobbles up in the midsection. Face-off coming in the Rebel zone. Semling knocked it down out of midair, and I'm not sure this is what he had in mind.
Well, I'll tell you, Tim Ledeen comes up with a lot of great saves. That one was simply, fortunately for him, it was in his gut, because if that would have been on any corner, he never would have seen it. I'm not sure he saw it anyway. He felt it.
Semling put it on a tee for Braun. Sibley into the corner. Penalty coming. No penalty. Into the corner, Froyland. Froyland plays it around behind the net. Bender lost it. Centering pass. Intercepted by Jared Reinholtz. He's tripped by Sibley. And both coaches standing, arms extended on their benches, wondering what will draw a whistle tonight. Rebels have it at center. Clone is slammed into the boards. Chevalier leaves it back in the net. Reinholtz plays it ahead for Froyland. Froyland carries out of his own zone. Froyland with a lot of room, fires, skate save Ledeen. Froyland again, top of the circle, avoids Sibley's check. Comes free to the point, kept in for a moment. Now it pops loose and Jared Reinholtz has to back it out. Comes back into the Champlin zone. Dannett picks it up in the corner. He lost it. Rebels start back. Sawicki across the red line has Curtis and Pagel with him. Sawicki to the corner. Lost it. Joe Blake starts back for Anoka. Blake out of his own zone. Sails through the neutral zone. Dumps it into the corner. Anoka making a line change. Semling has it. He's undercut by Hennis. Cole walks out.
John Cole coming up with his second goal of the first period here. Cole found an opening coming out from the corner, and he caught Tim Ledeen just leading a little bit as Cole cut towards the middle. Ledeen was starting to lead to his right. As he went to his right, Cole shot to his left, managed to find the corner. Take one more look there and you'll see Ledeen well out of his net. Knocks it up. See there, as soon as Ledeen went to his right, Cole shot it to his left. Ledeen just fired it out of the net because he was angry. He knew he'd been had on that play.
It is the 5th goal of the postseason for John Coe. We've talked about the coming of this Anoka second line. Well, the first line getting it done tonight. Off the draw, it's controlled by Champlin Park. Flipped out to center by Jokic. Into the corner, Blake back to pick it up. Blake and Hennis got assists on the goal by Cole. Blake starts back out of his own zone, harassed from behind. Plays it ahead on the left wing. Rickley relays into the zone. Jokic goes back to pick it up. Jokic bumped off the puck. Now it's controlled in the corner by Digitano. Long, rink-wide backhand pass. Gloved and dropped by Dugan. Dugan dropped it for Olsen. Olsen tied up by Rickley. And this will be a hand pass as soon as the puck is played by Digitano. And he fires it into his own bench area. We're going to face off in the neutral zone. 8:35 remaining first period. 2-1 in favor of the Tornadoes. A pair of goals by John Coe, one by Chuck Sawicki. And that's the difference so far in the first period.
Go!
Rebels have it in the neutral zone. Travis Rippey spun around by Justin Reinholtz. He then fires it in. Paul Bender back to pick it up for Anoka. Bender lost it. Stevens was there. Sibley tried to center. Dannett starts back for Anoka. Dannett to the Champlin line, sailing in, circling the net, centers. Oh my, Jared Reinholtz fanned on it. He was tied up from behind out front, but he still had a great chance. Stevens throws it rink wide for Sibley. Sibley took a hit from Justin Reinholtz. Now Froyland into the zone. Froyland fires, that goes wide. Anoka totally dominating the play. Champlin fires it in. No icing. Blake, yeah, they do call icing. And the faceoff will come back down into the Rebel zone. We are nearing the halfway point of this first period. Tornadoes 2, Rebels 1.
Rebels really need to pick it up defensively here. Anoka dominating, taking a look at some of the pressure they had down at the Champlin Park end. The centering pass just going between the skates of the winger breaking in on that side. All kinds of problems here for Champlin Park right now. You don't want to let Anoka start running up a little hot streak. You'll have a hard time catching them after that.
Tornadoes, like so many powerful teams, score in bunches more often than not. As the Rebels interrupted the bunch in the first period. Rink-wide pass for Forbes. Digatano back checking, got a stick on it. Rebels ice it again. And the faceoff will come back down into the Champlin zone.
I think the team from Cooper would agree that the Tornadoes can score in bunches.
Might be an understatement, Tarmo. Anoka scored 6 times in the final 3 minutes and 26 seconds of the second period against the Hawks in the quarterfinals. Might have been the most awesome period of hockey that this section has seen. Anoka outshot Cooper 31-1 in that second frame. Scored 9 goals in all in the period. But again, I think the most amazing thing about that quarterfinal victory, the 14-1 count, was that Ryan Forbes, John Coe, and John Hennis were almost no factor. They combined for 2 goals and 1 assist. Hennis has it in his own zone, pokes it ahead for Coe at center. Coe with some nifty stick work, has Sawicki turning circles, tried to center, intercepted, Semling to the line, but not out. Blake cutting in. His shot hit traffic, got it back. Now Coe centers, Forbes with it. He's watched by Pagel. Forbes turns to the far boards, tried to center, Sawicki broke it up. Pagel dumps it out to the red line. Rink-wide pass for Blake, and Anoka starts right back. Coe brings it in onside, dumps it to Forbes in the corner, fires, save Ledeen, Hennis dumped. Forbes back of the net, put it right on the stick in the slot. Now they cough it up at center. Here's Sawicki. Top of the circle, fired, hit Bender in the leg and goes to the corner. Oh, what a chance for John Peterson at the other end for Anoka. Forbes put it right on his stick and he couldn't handle the bouncing puck. Digatano turns and slams it into the Anoka zone. Champlin first line has had trouble getting on track tonight. Digatano tried to backhand it in. Justin Reinholtz took it away. Rink-wide pass for Rickley. Now Braun intercepts, but Digatano takes it back. Ahead for Olsen, back to Digatano. He trips and falls in the Anoka zone, pokes it to the slot. Here come the Tornadoes. Rickley has Peterson with him. He fires. Save the lead. Braun tees it up. He fired wide. Back of the net, Peterson plays it to the corner. Dugan comes away with it. Dugan's pass too far for Olsen. Dugan tried to get it back. Now Blake has it. Top of the circle. He fired wide. Rebound to the near point. Baroncott dumps it in. It rings around to the near side, then to the far corner. Rickerson has it. Ahead to Dugan. Clears to the line, and Blake couldn't keep the bouncing puck in the zone. Rebels will make a change. Rickerson's rink-wide pass for Dugan was deflected at center. And the Tornadoes come back. Froyland pokes it into the zone. Rickerson back to pick it up. Rickerson over onto the left wing for Dugan. Now he gets it back of the net, Jokic. Rebels having all sorts of problems breaking out. Here's Dannett behind the net. Dannett with it. He's watched by Bazell. Left it for Froyland. Rickerson took it away. Dugan knocks it off the dasher and slams it out to center. Jared Reinholtz turns it right back in. Jokic back to pick it up. He hammers it out to center, and the Rebels looking desperate in their own zone. 4:10 to go, first period. Anoka 2, Champlin Park 1. Here's Bazell at center. Froyland is tied up. Now Froyland will turn to the Champlin line. He takes a hit from Bindvik, and the Rebels start back. Coe with a steal at center. Coe to the corner. Coe cuts to the slot, centers. Justin Reinholtz with a shot. That was broken up. Curtis hustling after it. Bender rides him into the boards, and Bindvik pokes it to center. Now Coe to Forbes, try to get it to Hennis, and Rippey was fortunate to get that one caught in the skates. All Anoka, first period. Champlin turning to go on a change. Coe comes away with a loose puck. Plays it back to Hennis. Hennis leaves it behind the net for Forbes, centers. Coe was tied up from behind by Sawicki. Pagel to Curtis. Kept in at the point by Hennis. Hennis fell. Curtis takes away the loose puck. Pokes it to center. They're 2-on-2. Sawicki fires. Save Chevalier. Face off coming in the Anoka zone. 3:05 to go. First period. And Keith, like Mark Chevalier, might be falling asleep down here in the Anoka zone.
Well, I think that's exactly why some of the Rebels, as they come in across the blue line, they're going to let the shots fly. That's exactly what Sawicki has done his last 2 times down the ice. He's gotten across the blue line. He's not even thought about passing the puck. He's letting it fly. Anytime a goaltender doesn't get a whole lot of action, he gets a little cold. So I think that's the right theory. Let it fly. Get your shots when you can, and jump on some rebounds. And that's how they scored their first goal.
Hagel dumps it in for Champlin. Inside 3 minutes to go in the period. Stay with us during our upcoming first intermission. Keith will visit with Champlin head coach Dave Natero, who's trying to take his team to a state tournament, amazingly, in only their 3rd varsity year. Here's Dugan. He scores!
Just what Keith was talking about a moment ago. When you're down here and all the plays at the other end, it's very hard on the goalkeeper. That time, Dugan, he was faced with Dugan, one of the best shooters on this team. Dugan walked right in, found a little bit of room right between the legs. Take one more look here. Here's the pass to Dugan. And as Chevalier slid to his right, split those legs apart, Dugan saw that, took advantage of it, put it away for the tying goal.
It is Dugan's 4th goal of the playoffs, his 22nd of the year. Sawicki gets the only assist. Sawicki has had an outstanding postseason for the Rebels as well. Here's a long shot by Goodrich, goes wide. Dugan after it, tries to center. Taken away by Peterson. Anoka starts the breakout. Braun at center, one-on-one with Semling. Braun tries to get a shot away, does, and Ledeen covers up. Face-off coming in the Rebel zone. 2:07 remaining in the period. Tarmo, what a postseason for Mike Dugan. 4 goals, 1 assist for the Rebels. And this is not a team that has scored 21 goals in 2 games like Anoka. He has 4 goals and an assist on just 11 Champlin goals.
Well, and you say it all the time, you get to the big games, that's when you need the big players to step up. They needed something there in that Blaine game, and he stepped up and got the goal that tied the game. And here again, Anoka dominating. They needed something to happen. He made it happen, along with some help, of course, with a fine pass by Sawicki, but it was Dugan bearing it to tie the game.
And Sawicki with 9 points on the season, 4 of them coming in the postseason. Face-off here will come in the Rebel zone with 1:49 remaining. Sawicki with a goal and 3 assists in the playoffs gives him just 4 goals and 5 assists on the year.
It's kind of interesting that they've teamed up a couple times here in the playoffs, and they're not on the same line. It's just worked out that way on a couple different occasions, and they've been able to take advantage of it.
I have to correct myself on Sawicki's numbers. He had 25 coming into the playoffs. Here's Pagel into the Anoka zone. Lost the puck. Chevalier steers it to the corner. Curtis takes it away. Centers. Pagel fires. Sawicki
ones victimized. Sawicki was able to break in, get a shot at that rebound, put it away. Take another look, and you'll see him cut in between the defenders. Puts it high into the net for a second goal of the game.
Sawicki's 13th goal of the year. Curtis and Pagel get assists on the goal. Rebels with their first lead. It's 3-2 with less than a minute to go.
We are in the final minute of the first period.
Back of the net, Olsen tried to get it to Dugan. Hennis clears to the line, but not out. Now the Tornadoes have it with Forbes. Wraps it in off the boards. Ledeen will cover it up. Keith, throughout the period, we talked about how Anoka has dominated. They have controlled the flow of the game, yet they find themselves down one because of some opportunistic plays by Champlin Park.
Really the story of this point in the game, and all 5 goals, you can just about attribute to the same thing as forechecking. Anoka is relentless with their forecheck, and they really create a lot of problems for the Rebels. They cannot get the puck out of their own zone, but when they've gotten the puck out of their own zone, dumped and chased, they're also applying their own share of pressure in these last 2 goals. That's how they've scored them. Sawicki's kind of leading the charge. He's playing on emotion and adrenaline, not real big physically, but he's a pesky forechecker, and that's how they scored their last 2 goals.
Blake back to pick it up for Anoka. Inside a half a minute to go in the period. Here's Cole to the slot. Centers. Forbes is ridden out, and the net comes loose. Face-off coming in the Champlin zone. Every time this first line for the Tornadoes is on the ice, you just have to hold your breath, and especially if you're Tim Ledeen, because they have created good chances every time up.
Well, the other thing he does is hold the puck every time they're on. He's been very quick to grab it and take a face-off, even on some occasions when he could push it off to one of his defensemen. Obviously, the game plan is hold every loose puck that's anywhere near the crease.
Rippey wraps it around. Blake keeps it in, takes a hit from Dugan. Now Hennis knocks it off the dasher. Goodrich comes away with it. 6 seconds to go. Long pass ahead. Chevalier will let it go. And icing the call with the buzzer sounds. What a thrilling first period here at the Coliseum. At the end of 1, Rebels 3, Tornadoes 2. This is Section 4AA hockey on KABL.
Could a human body simply ignite?
Are aliens trying to contact us?
Is there life after death? Explore ancient mysteries, unexplained phenomena, and some other pretty weird stuff on world premiere episodes of Arthur C. Clarke's Mysterious Universe, Thursdays at 7 Central on the Discovery Channel. Explore your world.
Rebels 3, Tornadoes 2 at the end of 1. Keith Ebensteiner is joined down at ringside by Champlin head coach Dave Natero. Take it away, Keith.
Coach, you have to be awfully happy heading into the locker room with the 1-goal lead, meaning you found yourself down by 1 goal at about the 2.5-minute mark of the first period.
Well, it's always kind of exciting to play comeback hockey, but we'd like to stay ahead right now. We got to give the fans their money's worth. We did that last game, and now we're doing it this game, but hopefully we're going to stay ahead in this one.
It appears so far both teams are actually creating their own chances with the forecheck. The forecheck is causing a lot of problems with both teams clearing their zone. Once the offense or the puck is moving out of their zone, they've been able to set up plays, but both teams have struggled clearing their zone.
Yeah, we fumbled around in there. We let Johnny Coe walk right up to our goalie 2 times, and he's a real skilled hockey player. You just can't let Johnny Coe do his thing on the ice. You gotta play the body in the defensive zone. I don't think we were forechecking very effectively in the first part of the period, I guess basically because we're playing our own end. Once we got loose and got down in their end, we're a hard-working team. We're not flashy, but we're hard-working.
And that players like Chuck Sawicki are a good example of that. Pesky offensive forechecking, and that's what's created a couple of the last 2 goals and allowed you to go into the locker room ahead.
Well, Chuck, he never quits. He's not a real pretty skater. You can see that out there, but he's in people's faces, and he just works and gives it everything he's got out there.
What's it going to take for the Rebels to come back for the second period? Any changes at all, or stick to the same game plan?
Well, we hopefully negate their, maybe take a little more charge in the neutral zone. Don't let them start moving it in, and keep them out of the neutral zone and keep them out of our end, and hopefully things will work out.
How about the physical game? Will the physical game play a role as the game progresses? Both teams are very large in size, and typically that means it's going to be a rough and tumble physical game. A real clean, fast-paced first period.
Well, I don't think either Champlin Park or Anoka is known for their real physical bang you up and come after you. Anoka's a pretty skilled team. They pass the puck. They got some real skilled players, and we've got some guys who can skate. We're not a super physical team either.
Thanks a lot, Coach. I'll let you get back to your locker room.
Thank you.
Good luck. Back to you, Anthony.
All right, thanks, Keith, and thanks to Dave Notaro for stepping out and chatting with us during our first intermission. At the end of one, Rebels 3, Tornadoes 2. Stay with us. Our first intermission continues. This is Section 4AA hockey from the Coliseum on KABL.
Ready, Set, Learn is unprecedented programming dedicated to the educational needs of preschoolers. Ready, Set, Learn spares children from endless commercials and the violence found on most TV for kids. Ready, Set, Learn fosters reading and social skills, creativity and problem solving. Ready, Set, Learn, weekday mornings beginning at 6 Eastern, 5 Central on the Learning Channel.
For fun, fast, and easy shopping, look to the new Vision, Value Vision. Each day, all day, informative hosts provide fun and entertaining information on a wide array of quality product. Ordering is fast. Pick up the phone. Operators love taking your calls. And in 7 to 10 working days, the package comes to you. Just 7 to 10 working days. Easy. No driving, no parking. Fun, fast, easy. And your satisfaction is guaranteed. A new Vision, Value Vision.
Thursday nights, the only movies to see are on TNT. I love TNT. We take a great movie like Rebel Without a Cause.
You're tearing me apart!
Pair it up with a host like leader of the pack, John Goodman. Hey, baby. And it's just that simple. Great movies we all love. Hosted by stars who love them too. That's our favorite movies. Thursday nights on TNT.
Welcome back to the Coliseum at the end of a period. Champlin's in front 3-2, a fast-paced period, much as we expected. Tarmo Kubitz continues with our first intermission show. He's joined in our KABL studios by Minneapolis Star-Tribune writer Brian Wicker. Take it away, Tarmo.
Thanks a lot, Anthony. Brian, welcome to our intermission show here. You've seen a good hockey team here tonight. Champlin Park, kind of a surprise that they were able to come away with Blaine, and now they're pulling things off against Anoka here tonight.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch them in the semifinals because scored 4 goals in the third period, and I don't think anybody really gave them a great chance. They had been beaten twice by Blaine earlier in the season, and there's so many Cinderella stories that you just run out of space when you're trying to write about them. It's just, only in their 3rd year of existence and starting out 4-19 a couple of years ago, and the winning goal scored by a guy who's just coming off a medial collateral injury, and it just went on and on. But now here, Anoka, they're playing against Anoka. I didn't think they'd have much of a chance again. They're leading 3-2 after 1.
It was certainly a big year for the Tornadoes. Change in coaches, first-year coach, they've adapted well. They're just scoring goals in bunches all the way through the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, they're still obviously dangerous. They're down a goal, but maybe that's just what it takes to get them shaken up a little bit. Champlin Park, I mean, the coach, Dave Notaro, said in the semifinals, they were real nervous after 1 period, or during the first period against Blaine. Obviously, they're not nearly as nervous this time around. They're leading by a goal.
I think you might have been nervous for a while there in the early going, middle of the game, but then finally in the late period when they got that 1 goal, I think that really woke them up. We know you've been busy covering some other things for the paper besides just the section hockey here. You've been over with the slalom skiing. Tell us about the championships there.
Well, slalom skiing was down at Welch Village, and they had an 8th grade champion in the girls downhill. So she's going to be around for a long time, and it's going to depress a lot of her competitors, I'm sure. Gretchen Milke was her name. She's from Duluth East, and the Duluth East boys and girls both won team titles there. Pat Mitch of Orono won the boys slalom. He actually finished as a runner-up in his section to one of his best friends, and came back and beat him in the state meet. So, you know, just being a runner-up gets you invited to the state, but he was the best man in the final day.
How were the slopes there, considering the lack of snow we've had around? Were they in good shape for it?
Yeah, they had a plenty, a real deep base, and they were no problem as far as the skiing. It was actually gorgeous. I was walking around with my coat open, and I thought maybe it'd be too nice for the skiing, but the skiers said the hill was beautiful, so they had really great conditions too.
Well, another tournament that you were covering was gymnastics, and another kind of an exciting one, and Roseville coming up. A young lady from Roseville winning the individual honors.
Yeah, Debbie Thompson was in her first year in high school gymnastics. She'd been a club gymnast for a long time, and sometimes club gymnasts say that, you know, they compete so much and they concentrate so much on gymnastics they don't have time for all the other fun things in high school. That wasn't Debbie's case at all. She just run out of peer group. All the other girls her age had either gone into high school or left the club, so she decided to switch to high school and turns in the best performance ever in the state meet. I don't think she had a score lower than 9.7 in any of her events, and set an overall or an all-around record for the event with 39.2. So, and she's a junior, so she'll be back again next year.
Any real surprises, teams there that really came up and did well?
Not so much. Everybody kind of assumed Lakeville would win the girls' team title, and they did. They'd been the only team over 150 points, which is kind of the mark of excellence for gymnastics during the year. They were the only team in the state that cleared that this year. So they won, and Melrose won their second straight title in Class A. Montemita used to kind of make it a habit. They won about 7 in a row before Melrose beat them last year, and then now Melrose has won 2 in a row, so maybe they've got their own little dynasty started up.
Well, and of course, now with all the tournament season and March Madness in full swing, jump ahead from hockey, we still have to wrap it up with basketball, and I know you've seen some of that. What do you see coming up here in the basketball tournaments?
I see just a lot of hot dogs for meals. I never get home at this time of year. It drives me nuts, but I love it. And basketball, it's hard to concentrate on something coming up when you're in the middle of something going on. Each week we kind of have to be the expert in that sport, and so last week I knew a lot about gymnastics, and this week I'm supposed to know a lot more about hockey and wrestling. So it just is a crazy time of year, but everybody loves it. Everybody points to this time of year.
Well, it's a lot of fun. We enjoy your coverage there with the paper. Glad you could join us here today.
Thanks for having me.
Brian Wicker from the Star Tribune. Let's go back up to Anthony. He's got highlights from the first period.
All right, thank you, Tarmo, and there's plenty of them from this first period. We got started early, and we got started on both ends. In the first period, the Tornadoes outshot the Rebels 13-10. And they got on the board first. John Coe will get the goal off the beautiful pass from Ryan Forbes behind the net. It's Coe's 20th of the year, and at the 2:46 mark, Anoka was in front 1-0. Champlin came back with an opportunistic Chuck Sawicki. Curtis with the great move to split the defenders. Sawicki comes up with a rebound. Chevalier's down, and Sawicki beats him his 12th of the year. We're tied at 1. Just over 2 minutes later, it's the Tornadoes again, and again it's John Coe walking into the slot, his 21st of the year, his 5th of the playoffs, and Anoka was in front 2-1. They were dominating the period, but Champlin came back late. And it's Mike Dugan, his 22nd of the year. We're tied at 2. And just a minute 14 seconds later, the Rebels strike again. And again it's Sawicki. He'll grab the loose puck and beat Chevalier. Sawicki's 13th, his second of the game. And at the end of a period, it's the Rebels 3 and the Tornadoes 2. We're just about set to get underway, second period. Tornadoes in white, Rebels in blue. With Tarmo Kubitz and Keith Ebensteiner, I'm Anthony LaPanta. And the Rebels with a great chance in the opening 10 seconds, but Dugan fired it wide. And the puck is iced by the Tornadoes, so the faceoff will come all the way back in their zone. 14:44 to go, second period. And it's a 3-2 lead for Champlin Park. The winner advances to the state tournament. Of course, Champlin trying to get there for the first time in school history. The Tornadoes trying to get there for the third time. They were there in '85. They were there again in 1990. Puck at center, gloved and dropped by Reinholtz. Justin Reinholtz into the Champlin zone, drops to Forbes, fires, save, rebound, and goal! The goal for the Tornadoes, his 20th of the year. We've been bragging about how well Tim Ledeen takes care of rebounds. Keith, you were right on top of this one. This is what he did not do on this play.
Rebounds are one thing that will haunt you. We saw that earlier on the other end of the line, actually the same end of the ring, but the other colored jersey. Chevalier gave up that first goal, gave up a rebound right out front to Sawicki. He buried it in the Tornadoes bounce right back, and they tie the game in the exact same manner. It's a mistake you won't see Ledeen do very often.
Here come the Tornadoes again. Rickley up the left wing. Now Braun has it in the corner. Braun back of the net. Rickley tried to center. Hagel intercepts, and the Rebels break out to center. Finvik has it, fires it in, and Chevalier struggled with it. Rickley clears to the line, but not out. Now Rick wide for Braun, ahead for Peterson, cutting in, coming against Champlin Park. It's the first penalty of the night, and it's going to go against Whippy for hooking. Anoka on the power play at 1:22. Forbes' goal goes Forbes from Reinholtz. Watch it again. Not much question about it. Rippey pulled him down, and Anoka gets the game's first power play. Rippey for hooking, and Anoka's power play did a marvelous job controlling the puck against Osseo yesterday, even if our numbers weren't overly impressive at 2 for 6.
Forbes had his eye on it all the way, and he'll never score an easier goal than that one.
Anoka's power play this season has not been awesome, as you may think, with the abundance of talented players that they have. 26% of the year. Here in the playoffs, it has been better. That makes it 4 out of 11, which is 36%. Forbes has his second. Cole has 2 tonight. Sawicki also has 2. And now they're having a conference at the scorer's table as the clock was continuing to run. And they'll reset it at 13:30, which really can't be Tarmo. The goal was scored with 13:26 remaining.
Well, apparently no one's pointed it out to them, so.
Well, the man with a score sheet can look down and see that the goal was scored at 1:34, meaning 13:26 was on the clock.
Well,
now they'll check.
Our good friend Dave Wright isn't running the arena tonight.
They'll set it at 13:22. We should have sent Keith over there to the penalty box. He could have straightened things out.
Oh, I think they're going to get things straightened out. They picked the number 13:22. I could overhear the conversation taking place. They said we can't go. They heard you guys say we can't go before the goal was scored. Somebody will catch it.
You mean they actually listened to us? The crowd is growing.
Crowd is growing. They must have Tarmo Kubic's fan club t-shirts by now.
Underneath those striped jerseys, you betcha. But not your fan club after some of the things you said.
Well, and I tell you what, if they're listening to us, they should join a new fan club. Better things to do with your spare time. Semling clears to center. The Tornadoes clear it, no icing. Goodrich gives chase. He's run off by Rickley. Anoka in front, 4-3. We've got less than 13 minutes to go for the time being. Braun hammered in the corner by Goodrich. Braun tried to tee it up, got his stick caught in the shoulder of Sawicki. Now Rickley back of the net. Has it taken away by Semling. Rickley again, leaves it for Braun. Braun back behind for Rickley. Sawicki poked it away, lost his stick. Now Rickley for Anoka, centers, Reinholtz fires, save Ledeen. And a quick whistle as the puck was still loose. Face-off will come in the Champlin zone. 12:25 to go. This looks a lot like the Anoka domination we saw in the first period.
Tim Ledeen has to battle here to get his confidence back after being beaten for 2 quick goals, one of which he lost the puck on, and that time wasn't able to cover up the shot. There you see it, there you see the whistle, but look off to his right and you'll see the puck is laying there just about the same spot it was when Forbes poked one in for the go-ahead goal.
Ryan Forbes, 2 goals and an assist tonight, 8 points in the playoffs, 6 goals and 2 assists. Not a bad postseason. The Tornado big guns have been firing most of the night. Watch that last chance again. See the tail end of the save. Into the corner, Dannett plays it back of the net, Froyland. He's slammed into the boards by Bazell. Froyland stays with it, gets it back, poked away, back to pick it up, Jokic around to the near side, Rickerson. Rickerson clears to the line, but not out. Blake kept it in. Jokic back to pick it up in front of his own net, plays to center. Joe Blake picks it up for Anoka. Froyland at center, starts back in. Froyland up the right wing, runs into a check and lost the puck. Clone ties up with Dannett in the corner. Dannett comes away with it. Dannett circles, Rickerson took it away. Ahead, Rebels bottled up most of the period. Sibley clears to center. 11.5 minutes to go, and it still looks like the Zamboni just left in the Anoka zone. Sibley run off by Cole. And the Tornadoes continue. Bender back up the left wing, works around Rickerson. Ledeen pokes it away. Here's Forbes, centers, Cole fires. Hit traffic, goes to the corner. Jokic clears to the line, but not out. Forbes keeps it alive. Kicked into the zone by Lichter. And finally, the Rebels come away. Sibley has Olsen with him. They're onside. Olsen fires. Kind of an awkward play as Olsen had to stay back to avoid the offside. John Hennis starts back with Ryan Forbes. Forbes ripped out hard. Hennis picked it up. Olsen threw a check. Clear to the line. Lichter keeps it in. His shot hit a skate. Oh, and Dugan didn't know where it was, or he would have had another breakaway chance. Bender back to pick it up for Anoka. Plays it across to Lichter, off the boards to Forbes. Forbes carries across the red line. They're 3-on-3 at the Champlin line, and Hennis is offside. Face-off will come in the neutral zone. 10-12 remaining. Second period. Tornadoes 4, Rebels 3.
One of the things Champlin's going to have to do here to slow down the Tornadoes is play that body a little bit more, and you saw it that time. Ryan Forbes broke in on the left wing, and Travis Rippey just lined him up and drilled him into the boards, left him down on the ice. Rebels would do well to come up with a few more hits like that, try and slow the Tornadoes down.
Blake pokes it into the corner. Goodrich plays to center. Sawicki Gets it to Curtis. No! Broken up by Barancott. Good play by the Anoka defense. Curtis was all alone up the slot. Sawicki to Curtis in the corner. He's tied up by Peterson. Sawicki has it behind the net. Tried to get it to Curtis. Comes free to the near corner. Goodrich plays it back to the net. Sawicki tried to get it to Curtis. It was broken up. Pagel back into the corner to Sawicki. Peterson picks it up. Around to Braun on the right wing. Braun throws it rink wide to Peterson. Peterson fires it in. Anoka will make a change. Ledeen leaves it for Semling. Rebels clear to the line. Semling couldn't get it out of the zone. Rickley centers. Reinholz fires, hit the post. Reinholz fires, hit the post. And it deflects up and out of play. Face-off will come outside the zone. No, they'll bring it inside. A good, quick, hard shot by Reinholz, rattled off the left post.
Well, I think Ledeen got a piece of it as well. It went off of him and then off the post, or vice versa.
Keith had a good angle of that one, I'm sure. Some smoke on that fastball from Reinholz.
I had a good angle, almost such a good angle, I almost got hit in the head with the puck as it fluttered over the plexiglass. Actually, what happened, Ledeen got a piece of it, and it deflected off the crossbar. It was only inches from going in.
Backhanded out to center. Reinholz back to pick it up. Reinholz circles his net, avoids Curtis's check, turned it over. Clone centers, and Curtis was tied up from behind. Royland, backhand pass at center, intercepted by Finbick. His pass over the head of everybody. And Bender back to pick it up. He avoids Stevens' check, plays to Dannett. Now Jared Reinholz ahead to Froyland. Froyland into the Champlin zone. He's double teamed and lost the puck. Finbick plays to Stevens. Stevens was wiped out. And I'm not sure if we're going to have icing or a penalty here. It appears it will just be an ice. Could have been called interference at the blue line as Stevens was wiped out.
Going for the puck at the time, he and the defenseman were both going for the puck. Take a look at the hit that he takes right here. Deposited rather heavily against the boards there.
By a man who enjoys hitting just a little bit, Joe Blake. Here's Hennis behind the net. Out to the point, Barancott fires, it went wide. Rebound controlled by Forbes, back in the net, Hennis. Hennis still with it. Hennis plays to the point for Barancott. Barancott into the corner, got by Hennis. Rickerson over to pick it up for Champlin Park. He had it nearly taken away by Cole. Rickerson lost it, Forbes has it. Forbes couldn't get a stick on it. Forbes with a great move. Fakes the shot to Blake, fires, save, Ledeen!
Out at the blue line with two Champlin Park players coming, spun right between them, stepped around one other man who came up to meet him, slid it over to Joe Blake. He blasted one. The save was made, but the rebound was right there for Hennis. He put it away. What a great effort.
John Coe gets credit for the goal. He slammed in the loose puck. Watch it again. Blake has all day. Don't want to give him this much time and watch Cole.
That's right, it was correct that. It was Cole rather than Hennis that came up with it, but what a play by Forbes setting that whole thing up.
It's the hat trick for John Coe, and he continues quite a scoring tear. Been a while since John Coe was kept off the books in a given night. Now we're going to get a penalty called. A high sticking minor, and this will put the Tornadoes on the power play. 7:44 the time. And Anoka goes on the attack for a second time. Keith, another rebound goal, this one for Anoka.
Well, I think that whole goal, that was almost a Ryan Forbes highlight film. sucked two Rebel defensemen, or actually forwards, out towards them, made a nifty spin move, held onto the puck, made a nice pass, set up the whole play, and you're right, it's another rebound goal, but I think they kind of got caught chasing the puck. Two guys chased Forbes, he walked past them both, so it was essentially 5-on-3 hockey out front of Ledeen. He never had a chance.
The hat trick tonight for Coe, 2 goals for Forbes, a couple of goals for Chuck Sawicki of the Rebels as well. Coe fires just wide. Ennis with the rebound. Ennis centers, Coe fires, save Ledeen. And Coe is wrapped up out front. 1:37 to go in the power play. The Tornado extra man, 4 out of 11 in the postseason. The Rebel penalty killers were victimized earlier tonight. They had done a nice job in the first 2 rounds. They kept Blaine off the books. In the semifinals, gave up 1 on 4 chances against Armstrong. 8 out of 9, not bad numbers. Blake fires, Ledeen watched it go wide. Hennis scores on the rebound.
Anoka on the power play, moving it at will. They were able to find Cole wide open earlier. He was stopped. This time, there was Ennis wide open and was able to put it away. Ennis, the only member of that line who hasn't scored a goal yet, 6 goals. That big first line of the Tornadoes here tonight.
For John Hennis, it continues what has been a good night for him. It's his 3rd point, his 18th goal of the year. Watch it again. Blake and Reinholds get assists. 3rd assist of the night for Blake.
That time, Ledeen got caught a little bit far out of the net. Didn't slip when it was right on a shot that was wide. With the power Blake could shoot with, that thing just rocketed out the other side before Ledeen could scramble back. Hennis was there to poke it into the open net.
Dave Notaro takes his timeout with 6:36 remaining here in the second period. And the Rebels find themselves dodging bullets here left and right. It is 6-3 in favor of the Tornadoes. They've scored 4 unanswered goals thus far here in the second period. Total only 5 different players in the scorebook tonight. Coe, Hennis, Forbes, Blake, and Reinholds.
Well, it's a pretty good group when they're clicking, and really you look at the goal scorers, and on a number of the goals, they had the easiest part. Ennis had an open net to shoot at. Coe had one earlier. Basically, their rebounds are set up so the guys are wide open right out front. Keith's down there at that end. Keith, the goal scorer, had the easiest job on those.
Well, I have a tough time hearing you. They got that war chant going back and forth, and I could barely hear anything down here at Alpine Road, but I know you're referring to what was going on out front of goaltender Ledeen. And like you said, the goals have looked fairly easy, but the Tornadoes have been in the right spot. We can't credit or say that it's really been Ledeen's fault, because there's just been too many maroon and white jerseys out front of Ledeen, and the defensemen just, there isn't enough to go around, and the Tornadoes are everywhere, and they're pouncing on every loose puck they can.
Here they come again, and Ledeen stopped it. Rebound to the corner, Bender has it. Lays it around behind, Froyland takes a check. Froyland walks out front. Rebels come away with it. Sawicki throws a wicked check, no penalty, as he threw Froyland to the ice. Looks like a crew that believes in Keith's marble theory. 2 penalties already against the Rebels. Sawicki with a mugging and no call. Hagel across the red line. Works through Reinholds' check. Now Sawicki goes down in the corner. Rebels give it up. Here comes Jared Reinholds. Reinholds poked off of his stick by Goodrich. Justin Reinholds keeps it in. Here come the Rebels, 3-on-1. Goodrich for Sawicki. Sawicki across to Curtis. A shot! Save!
The word we use to describe the Rebels is that Blaine James Anthony was opportunistic. And you're seeing it here again. Goodrich coming up from a defensive position. He was rushing, and he had the easy one that time, tapping it into the empty net.
And it's a 4-point night for Chuck Sawicki as he gets an assist on Goodrich's 5th goal. Curtis gets the 2nd assist. He has 3 of them tonight and 16 for the year. Penalty coming against Anoka behind the play. Going to be a roughing minor, and now Champlin Park goes on the power play. Golden opportunity for the Rebels to get back in this game. Boarding is the call officially against John Cole.
We talked about the outstanding goaltending and how Champlin Park keeps the goals against down, and how Chevalier had been playing well, and Anoka had also been playing very good defense. And Anthony, here we go again, a 10-goal game just past the halfway point.
And really no fault to the goaltenders.
This is what we expected from White Bear and Roseville yesterday.
Here, turnover. Forbes has it. Now he does come away with it. Sembling takes it away. Rebel power play, 1 out of 6 in the postseason. Sembling into the zone, still with it. He's tied up, goes hard into the end boards with Blake. Dugan back in the net. He has been quiet tonight. Olsen fires, hit traffic, comes away. Ryan Ford, short-handed, fires, hit the post, and Ledeen covers up. Face-off coming in the Rebel zone. Oh, what a chance for Ryan Forbes. Watch it again.
Forbes coming in. He's being rushed from the side, so let go a quick wrist shot. Forbes celebrated. He thought he had scored. His teammates thought so. But the referee was there, and also in section hockey, you've got a goal judge as well, and there you get a good shot of it right there. It was off the post. No red light on that end. The official was there to wave the arms.
Now they're going to chat with the goal judge. Keith, you were right on top of the play. Our replays show it clearly, but very obviously no goal.
No goal is the right call. I don't think they will overrule that whatsoever. The celebrating was a little premature. Ryan Forbes saw the puck. He could see it rolling behind goaltender Ledeen towards the net. I thought it was going to go in as well, but it hit the post square, bounced straight back out a couple inches away. Ledeen was able to get a glove on it.
The officials now conferring with the goal judge in the penalty area.
We're seeing a lot of head shaking there. Let's take one more look and you'll see it looks from our camera viewpoint pretty clearly like it was off of the post. It did go off of Ledeen and then go off the post.
It hits the inside of the post, but it just hits the inside of the post. Even though that disappears from sight, that is not a goal. It hit the inside of the post.
It wouldn't have come out at that angle had it gone across the goal line and then come back out.
And remember as well, the entire puck needs to cross the entire line for it to be a goal.
Actually, I give the officials credit for this one for coming over. It's a huge goal, a huge play, and a game that means so much to these guys. And they decided to just take a minute and talk it over and make sure everyone was on the same page here. Now talking about it to the Anoka bench.
Well, they're still conferring. Keith, the angle that you had to be almost perfect because you're looking right at the inside of that post. Any question in your mind as to whether or not it hit inside the goal line?
There was no question at all until I saw the instant replay. I just watched the replay on my monitor, and the puck does disappear. You guys are taking a look at it right now, but the angle it was going in there, I thought the puck was going to get ricocheted into the back of the net. I don't know how it bounced straight back out, but like you said, if it bounces out, that means it was never in far enough.
On that angle, it is very difficult to tell. We'll check on that again later in the night. We just looked at it from out near center ice, and it is very hard to tell. It looks like it may indeed have hit something inside that net and come back out. Here comes Forbes again, sailing in. Oh, Ledeen swept him. A sensational save by the Champlin goaltender. Here's a shot by Barancock that goes wide. Don't forget, fans, the Rebels are on the power play. Two great chances for Ryan Forbes. Sawicki lost it at center. Curtis coming in to the slot. A shot hit a leg of a defenseman. He goes down. And it starts back, fires to center. Inside 10 seconds in the power play. Goodrich at the red line. Walks in, tees it up and fires. It's out of play. Tornadoes back in full strength. Needless to say, the best two chances on the Rebel power play come for Ryan Forbes.
Give a lot of credit. Tim Ledeen has been burned for 6 goals there in this one, but the one we've been talking about, whether it went in or not, he did get a piece of it. And that second time, he just got that pad out there and stopped Forbes, getting to him before he could make his move far enough to get it around him and into the net.
Tornadoes at full strength inside 3 minutes to go, second period. This is what section hockey is all about, folks. Tornadoes 6, Rebels 4. Olsen starts back. Gets it by Peterson. Dugan backhands it in. Olsen tracks it down. Reinholz plays it around to the far boards. Braun has it. Clear to the line, but not out. Goodrich kept it in, and they'll say he closed the fist. Face off in the neutral zone. Stay with us during our upcoming second intermission. Keith will be joined by first-year Anoka head coach John Barancock. And again, the Kubitz fan club is everywhere.
They're ringing the arena tonight here.
Now they're in the back cave.
What's that?
They're in the bat cave on that shot.
We let them out every now and then, if they're good.
Here come the Tornadoes. Jared Reinholz taken down by Jukic. Penalty coming for holding. Jukic doesn't like the call. Looked like they just got tangled up again. As everything that's happened this period happens directly in front of Keith Ebensteiner. Keith, well, how did you see it?
Well, I'm going to give 2 points for a takedown and somewhat of a body slam. Jockey, just like you said, it was a case where they did get a little tangled up, and the results always look worse than reality, and as a result, there's a penalty called because they both hit the ice awfully hard right up front of me. I think it was a chance where they got a little tangled up, and when they hit the ice, they hit awfully hard, and there was nothing to break their fall, and as a result, it was a penalty call.
Not a bad seat for you tonight, Keith. Must have connections here at the Coliseum.
I was wondering if that was your fan club around you, Keith, but looks like no one's there.
Someday, Tarmo, I'll be as popular as you with the 2- and 3-year-olds.
Tarmo gets the best ratings in that age group. Joe Blake has it for the Tornadoes. They're on the power play. 1:50 remaining in the period. Chevalier out to leave it for Justin Reinholz. Tornadoes disorganized. Curtis had it, lost it, got it back. Now Blake has it. Blake for Forbes on the right wing. Forbes tied up by Finvik, goes to the corner. Forbes gets it back, spins away from Sawicki. Minute and a half in the period, minute 6 in the power play. Tornadoes 2 for 2 with the extra man tonight. Forbes has it. He's watched closely by Curtis. Forbes out to the point. Blake winds and fires. Sawicki went down to block it, and the Rebels clear the zone. 45 seconds in the power play. Justin Reinholz gets it to Blake. Big check thrown behind the play. Rebel fans wanted a penalty. Blake fires. Save! Ledeen! Oh, a quick glove. Joe Blake might have the hardest slap shot in Section 4AA, and Ledeen flagged it down.
He's wound up for a number of those in this game, and a couple of them were knocked in for rebounds. Another one was deflected earlier by Sawicki, who made a nice diving play. That time there was nobody in front, so Ledeen had to take care of it himself, and he did with that quick glove hand.
45 seconds to go in the period. 23 in the power play. Dennett behind the net. Out to the point, Barron-Cott takes a look, back to Danette, break wide, Jared Reinhold's fired wide. Olsen picks it up, he'll clear it all the way down, should just about do it in the Anoka power play. 5 seconds in the extra man, Bender had it poked away by Dugan. Now Bender still with it, 15 seconds in the period, Dugan pokes it away, Dugan in the corner, trying to get it out front, circles high in the slot, he lost control of it, Froyland pokes it to center. Now Dugan, back to Olsen. Olsen works around Barron-Cott, buzzer sounds, period comes to a close. At the end of 2, Anoka 6, Champlin Park 4. Stay with us, our second intermission is coming up next. This is Section 4AA Hockey on KABL.
The start of another day and the start of that all too familiar morning routine. You know it well, but what you may not know is how the current weather conditions might affect you and your family's day. Make the Weather Channel part of your morning routine. This morning's weather is designed to fit your busy morning schedule with accurate forecasts, including expected temperatures, precipitation, and the threat of severe weather. Depend on it to help you plan your day. This morning's weather on the Weather Channel, weather you can always turn to.
6-4 Tornadoes at the end of 2. They score 4 goals in the second period. That has to excite Coach John Barron-Cott, but it's the 2 that they just missed on the breakaways by Ryan Forbes that have to concern him. He's with Keith Ebensteiner. Let's go down to Keith right now.
Coach, I'm sure you're very happy with the way your team came out in the second period. They found themselves down by 1 goal. They scored 4 quick goals to jump out back into the lead.
Yeah, it was nice to see. I think after the last 5 minutes of the first period there, we're a little dead in the locker room. We kind of got it picked up a little bit, and then to come out and get a couple goals, I think within the first minute or minute and a half there, kind of got some adrenaline going again, and that carried us over for a while there, I think.
You scored 4 quick goals. Let's take a look at the 1 goal that was called off. We'll let you make the call whether it's a goal or not a goal on the monitor. Take a look at it. You'll see Ryan Forbes gets a good shot on goal. Ladine gets a piece of it, and as it flutters, it's awfully close, whether it goes in or not. It's not often you get this viewpoint, is it?
No. From my angle from the bench, it went 5-hole, and I thought it went in. I thought it hit the white pad that goes around the net. I don't know if that's far enough back of the goal line so the puck crosses the whole goal line or not, but I mean, something in the net should not stop the puck from going in. It should, I mean, at that point, it should be far enough back so either it's in or it's out, one or the other. And I don't know if it's far enough back to even if a puck would sit there if it'd be in. I mean, I have to believe it was in, but, the ref wouldn't believe me, so it didn't count, so that's the way it goes.
It's an odd bounce. I don't think I've ever seen one bounce out like that. It didn't slow Forbes down. He came right back a minute later. He's been flying all night and had another breakaway of just a minute later, and he already scored 2 goals.
Yeah, he's, well, those senior kids, this is their last hurrah, and, I think they want to, there's 10 of them, and they want to go out on a good note. So, they're playing hard, and I guess that's what you expect in a big game, to have your best players come through for you.
Well, experience has to play a big part of the success the team's had this year, because really they've skated together on the varsity level for 3 years.
Yeah, like early in the year, we do have a lot of experience, but it's basically with 4 or 5 players. The rest of the kids probably have 30, 40 games varsity combined with our top 5, probably 250 games. So we're experienced, but it's kind of one-sided.
Coach, what are the Tornadoes going to have to do to hold on in the third period to win this game and go on to the state tournament?
Well, I'd like to see us do what we did in the first part of the second period, obviously. I think our forecheck's been pretty good. On their 4th goal, we didn't get it in deep, and when kids were tired, and ended up giving them a 3-on-1, and that's one thing we can't do. We can't give odd man rushes. But if we get it in deep, and I think keep forechecking and play smart, I like our chances, I guess. I guess I'd like our chances after the second period better than the first.
All right, I'll let you get back to your team. Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck. Back to you, Anthony.
All right, thanks, Keith, and thanks to Coach John Barron-Cott for coming out and talking with us during this second intermission. Fans, stay with us. Still ahead, our second intermission show, and, of course, the final 15 minutes from the Coliseum. It's 6-4 Tornadoes after 2. This is Section 4AA Hockey on KABL.
At the Discovery Channel, we go to extraordinary lengths to tell extraordinary stories. Stories that take you off the beaten path. So if we see it, you see it. The Discovery Channel. Explore your world.
You know, a lot of people think Pat, John, and I always disagree. Nothing could be further from the truth. Sure, we argue issues, but that's healthy in any relationship. In fact, off camera, we're really good friends. Fellas, how about another round?
Crossfire, weeknights on CNN.
Decisions, decisions, decisions. What with bonds, mutuals, futures, options, and something like 6,000 stocks, there are a lot of different ways to go with your money. Well, these are the people who can help you decide the smartest way to go. It pays to watch people who know what they're talking about. CNBC, first in business.
Welcome back here to our second period intermission show here at Fairgrounds Coliseum. We're going to call it the Puckheads intermission show here. We'll chat a little bit and give Anthony a little bit of a break here. And I think he needs one, the way the goals are coming fast and furious. And from our vantage point in the booth, we should certainly look like this whole stage was set for you here. And as we were talking off the air, maybe your highlight of the period was that move by Ryan Forbes.
Oh, it was a nifty move. We just talked about that. It was a spectacular move that will be shown on the Anoka highlight reel no matter how far that team goes. He was wheeling and dealing with the puck for a little while, and then up top, two Champlin teammates charged him hard. He made a little spin move, held the puck tight to him, and like we said, they had so much momentum, they skated right past him, past the blue line. He turned around, and another Rebel defenseman slid across in front of him trying to block the shot, made a little nifty backhanded pass, no-look pass. It was 5-on-2 hockey from there on. The shot followed up by a barrage around the net, and they scored a goal. It was a nifty move. He didn't score the goal, but it was a great move.
Well, he certainly did everything but score the goal. Certainly a great period for him, and another great season. He's been a good player all along, and it was interesting. You're talking to the coach about the outstanding seniors they got on this team, and watching him again here, it made me wonder, as we thought a couple times, if things had worked out a little bit differently with Reggie Berg, what would that have added to this team as well?
Well, you'll remember it was 2 seasons ago when that whole senior class was sophomores that the preseason polls had Anoka picked number 3. Number 3, you'll remember that was the same year that Bloomington Jefferson won the state tournament, and they had their dominating years throughout there, and they're still continuing that. But Anoka, they were ranked that high because of the potential they did have. Everybody knew coming into that sophomore season, but you never know how sophomores are going to respond, and that's kind of what happened. They lost Reggie Berg. He was there. He was gone. The team unity wasn't there, and then they went through that again last year. It was up until the very first game, first day of hockey, that they didn't know whether Reggie Berg was going to be on the team or not. Then he was on the team. Then he left early again. So the team was kind of in disarray the last 2 years. This year going in, Reggie Berg was not going to be a part of the team. And they were focused, they knew who they had to work with, and they've had their best season by far in 3.
And they had an awful lot of players back. They were a lot more, seemed like they were playing a little bit more disciplined hockey out there now than they had in the past, even though they lost a few people. Nate Miller, for one, who was an outstanding player that graduated last year, playing for the St. Paul Vulcans. We really saw him as the leader last year. And now this year, it's hard for us to say who the leader is. It looks like that whole senior group is leading by example.
I think you're right. Probably Blake is probably the most vocal one. I'm guessing he's somewhat taking charge of the pack of the seniors, and he's the leader. But like you said, most of the leaders are on the ice at the same time as well, followed by Cole and Forbes. And they've been skating together a long time, and like that fantastic play, they've been skating together long enough where they know where one another is at all times. They don't have to look, so they can make those passes, and it's goals like that that could be pivotal.
Well, and then you look at this Champlin Park team, and now having seen them all the way through the sections again, that term opportunistic pops up because they were outshot 33-18 by Armstrong, yet they beat them. Blaine just dominated the stretches, and then all of a sudden there'd be one rush. It's 2-on-1, they score. And now they're doing it here again. They just seem to have the knack of hanging on until they can spring someone, and all of a sudden they can put it away.
This Champlin team reminds me of Blaine teams in the past 2 years when Kelsenberg could provide that outstanding performance in net. They'd get outshot by maybe 10, 15, 20 shots, and they'd win the game. That's exactly what they'd do. They'd hang in there till they got their opportunity, wait till the other team make mistakes, kind of like the first period. Sawicki was all over the place on the forecheck. He created a couple misfortunes deep in their own zone, and he cashed them in for some points. He has 4 points already through two periods, and they're all directly related to the aggressive forecheck.
They really are, and as much we talk about the Anoka power and everything they've been able to do, they've only got a 2-goal lead going into this third period, and we haven't heard that much from guys like Dugan and Olsen up there on that first line. Sawicki, an interesting player because he's not that big. I think he's one of the smallest players on the ice, but he's pretty feisty. He moves that stick around pretty well, and I think he's aggravating a lot of the other people out there.
I think you're right. And when you aggravate players, the opposing players, you kind of take them out of their game. They forget what they're doing, where they're going, and they want to hit number 11. They want to get payback because he's fast enough and scrappy enough that, you're right, they're paying attention to where he is rather than what they're supposed to be doing. You heard his coach say he's not the most gifted skater on the ice by any means, but he's the scrappiest and he probably has the biggest heart. He's not willing to give up to the bigger guys.
Well, that's the kind of spirit they're going to need here in the third period to come back. We're going to send it back over to Anthony, 6-4 the score. Big second period. Anthony's got the highlights. Let's give it to him.
All right, thanks, guys. Nice job there in the intermission. As we once again remind you that it is 6-4 in favor of Anoka as we head into the final 15 minutes. Stay with us. We're going to step aside. When we come back, we'll have second period highlights, and we'll drop the puck on this third and maybe final period of Section 4AA Final Hockey. This is the 4AA Final on KABL. Stay with us.
Tuesday nights on the Learning Channel. They were pirates' hideaways, castaways' prisons. These are the places where unknown riches live. Don't miss a new series that captures the spirit of a swashbuckling era and the people whose legends endure. Treasure Islands, Tuesday nights at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central on the Learning Channel.
Hi, I'm Jean Brown, pay-per-view manager at Meredith Cable, and my job is to provide you with a wide variety of great entertainment. That's why we offer Home Ticket Pay-Per-View. With access to 5 networks featuring fresh from the theater movies, you can enjoy a box office hit in your own home on demand. Ordering is easy when you use our convenient 800 number. For free previews and ordering details, tune to Sneak Preview Channel 37. So why go out? We deliver. Home Ticket Pay-Per-View on Meredith Cable, the choice to come home to.
In favor of the Tornadoes. After 2, they've outshot the Rebels 26-15 thus far tonight, including 13-5 in that second period. Holy moly, has Tim Ledeen been on fire tonight, even though he's given up 6 goals. He easily could have given up 8 or 9 thus far in the evening. The Champlin fans applauding the efforts of who has been the conference and the section's top goaltender here in the postseason. In that second period, the Tornadoes got started early, 36 seconds in. Ryan Forbes will get the goal. Reinholtz gets the assist. Forbes just simply blows it by Ledeen. On the rebound, he pokes it around him. We are even at 3. That came 36 seconds in. 1 minute later, it was Ryan Forbes again. This time, Forbes will get this one on the rebound. Blake fires, loose puck, Forbes buries it. Anoka in front 4-3 on the power play. Then midway through the period, Anoka scores again. This time it's another rebound, and again, it's that top line on the ice. John Coe's 22nd of the year made it 5-3. And John Hennis will get his 18th as he will grab the loose puck off the carom. He scores to make it 6-3, another power play goal. Champlin looked like they were finished, but they come back. An opportunistic bunch, and on a rebound, Goodrich scores. And it's 6-4 at the end of 2. It's only 6-4 because Anoka had a couple of great chances that Ledeen stopped. Tonight's broadcast brought to you in part by Rocky Rococo on Snelling Avenue. Call 631-0696. Justin Reinholtz plays to center. We're a half a minute in to this third period. Ryan Forbes into the Rebel zone. Poked off of his stick, and Goodrich starts back. Coe takes it away at center into the Champlin zone. Coe fires, save Ledeen. Rebound goes up against the end boards. Clear to the line, but not out. Bender fanned on it. Here come the Rebels, 2-on-1. Dugan has Sawicki with him. Fires wide. Rebound to the near boards. Dugan again. Rebound. Bigatano scores! All night we've wondered, where is Mike Dugan? He has his biggest shift of the night in the opening minute of the third period.
And all night we've wondered, how can Anoka have chance after chance at one end, and the only goal we see is the one that comes on the other end. That time it was Digatano taking advantage of it. Take one more look here and you'll see Dugan taking the shot. He fires it. It's deflected off the defenseman there. Blake got his stick on it, but he couldn't hold it. Digatano was right there to take it off of Blake's stick, put it past the very surprised Mark Chevalier.
And it is now 6-5 in favor of the Tornadoes. Hang on, folks. 13 and a half minutes to go. Sawicki has it taken away by Peterson. Sawicki got it back. Curtis fell, tried to center. Pagel was tripped in the slot. No penalty. Rippey off the boards to center. Rippey gets it back in his own zone, plays it ahead to Pagel. Pagel back to Rippey. Rippey across the red line, got it by Braun, wiped out by Justin Reinholtz. Peterson taken off the puck by Pagel. Jokic clears it, icing against the Rebels. Face-off comes back in their zone. Carmo, the Rebels scored 4 goals against Blaine in the semifinals yesterday. Rebels haven't been a third period team very often this season. In fact, in the third period this year, the Rebels had been outscored 28-18 prior to that 4-0 shelling of the Bengals in the semis.
Well, they went through a scoreless third period in the first round and 4-0 advantage in the second. And this goal here puts them 5-4 and 0 against as they're into their third period here.
Prior to that, they hadn't outscored an opponent in the third period since January 24th against Forest Lake. Here come the Tornadoes, 2-on-1. Donette fires, save, Ledeen! Tim Ledeen again comes up with a tremendous save. And the teammates thank him for keeping them in it. It's still 6-5.
Ledeen gambled big time that time as he came out and slid, hoping to get to the puck. Take one more look at it. Here's the shot. As he comes across, has to get down to cover it before Donette can get the shot off. Otherwise, that net would have been wide open, but made the play and kept the puck close enough to him to get the whistle from the official.
Sawicki on the attack. Finvik plays it back in the net. Comes to the point. Rickerson fired. That hit traffic. Sawicki, who has 5 points tonight, working hard in the corner. Aaron Cott has his pocket picked by Sawicki. He fired just wide. Forbes to Coe. Coe across the red line. 2-on-2. Has Hennis with him. Fires! Save Ledeen! And the net is loose. Here come the Rebels. 2-on-1. Curtis poked away by Bender. The Champlin net is still loose. The officials have left it behind. Finvik fires it in. Here come the Tornadoes. Bender starts out of his own zone. Rink-wide pass tipped away by Rippey. And Bender goes back to pick it up. Hennis has it. Ahead for Cole, 2-on-2 with Forbes. Cole into the Champlin zone. Tied up and has it stripped away by Rippey. Here come the Rebels again. Rippey at the red line. Fired in, gloved, and held on to by Chevalier. Face-off coming in the Anoka zone. 10:59 remaining. Coach John Berencott shouting instructions to his crew.
Real confusing sequence there. It looked like the net was off. The official started to raise his hand and then gave the safe sign there just as Champlin walked out 2-on-1.
Well, he was going to call a high stick if Anoka was the next to touch the puck. Waved that off. Ledeen knew his net was loose and he fixed it when the puck got to the other end. He wasn't going to draw any attention to it with his team on a 2-on-1. Jokic ahead for Dugan. 3-on-2 if they hustle. Dugan hits the Anoka line to the slot. Fires! And Chevalier got a mitt on it. Olsen to the point. Goodrich plays it back in. Dugan back of the net. Watched by Berencott. Dugan still with it. Centers. Loose puck. Played behind. Digatano tried to get it back to Dugan. Braun clears to center. Semling fires it in. Kicked aside by Chevalier. Clear to the line, but now it does come out. Semling couldn't keep it in. Curtis knocks it down. And they're offside. Chuck Sawicki laying on his back, pointing that his foot was indeed on the blue line. Good effort by Sawicki, but it goes for naught. Curtis had drifted in offside.
Hurt yourself doing the splits like that, I think, the way he did at the line. Gave a pleading look up to the linesman next to him. The linesman said, nice try.
Here come the Tornadoes. Blake fired it in, goes to the corner. Goodrich flips it, and it drifts on a play. Face-off will come back in the Rebel zone. 9:41 remaining, third period. Tornadoes 6, Rebels 5.
Really have to give a lot of credit to the Rebel team, not just for getting to the final here, but no matter what happens, the way they've come back several times in this game and just refused to quit.
Curtis hits the Anoka line, turned back by Bender. Jared Reinholz fell. Finvik kept it in. Bender goes back to pick it up. Curtis takes it away, fires on goal. Chevalier steers it back of the net. Centering pass, Curtis fanned on it. And Bender clears to the line. Here come the Tornadoes. Froyland up the wing. Lost control of it. Now circles, tried to center for Dennett. It was broken up. And Curtis dumps it out to the red line. Fired back in by Bender. Anoka in the middle of a line change. Finvik plays it back of the net. Rickerson to Dugan. Cleared it, not out. Blake fires. Ledeen was fooled, but it luckily goes wide. Rebels clear. It's going to go through the crease. No! Icing against the Rebels. Face-off will come back into the Champlin Park zone with 8:42 remaining.
Starting to get to that time of the game here where the clock becomes a factor, and also the other thing is how tired are these players. Granted, they're going on adrenaline here, and that means an awful lot, but some of these legs are going to start getting awful tired here in the last 5 minutes of the game.
Face-off again will come in the Rebel zone. They were just about eliminated by Blaine in the semis, trailing 4-2 heading into the third. Here they were down by 3 goals at 6-3, facing the section's most powerful offense. But they have bounced off the ropes and are down by just 1. Loose puck, Cole fires, save Ledeen, rebound controlled by Rippey. Tried to spring Dugan, Cole took it away. Digatano comes away with it for Champlin. Gloved and dropped by Forbes. Dugan comes away with it. Forbes is taken out at center. Digatano pokes it into the Anoka zone. Rebels need to make a change. Puck comes to an open point. Ryan Forbes has it. Forbes works against Semling. Falls as he comes to the slot. And Goodrich starts back. Goodrich rink wide for Dugan. Dugan tried to get it to Curtis. Goodrich banned on it. Cole was back checking and got a piece of him. Goodrich keeps it in. Backhands it to the line. Rebels have to retouch. Halfway through the third period, 6-5 Anoka. Semling in his own zone. Fires ahead, trying to spring Sawicki. Play to the Anoka line. Bender has it. Braun at the red line, poked away by Sawicki. Curtis into the Anoka zone. Poke checked off of his stick by Bender. And the Tornadoes clear to center. Anoka defensemen have done a great job tonight against these quick Rebel forwards. Pass too far for Braun. Ledeen out for a skate. Looked like it might have been icing. Rebels have it in their own zone. Here's Braun across the blue line. Braun fires. High and wide. Anoka trying to make a line change. Puck comes to center. Blake to the Rebel line. Poked into the corner by Froyland. Froyland centers. Reinhold. Oh, what a save! No goal! Oh, my! Timmy Ledeen keeps it in a one-goal game. Jared Reinhold is going to be seeing visions of Tim Ledeen all summer.
What a great pair of plays by Ledeen. The first one, just a great save there on the deflection right at the goal. And then his quick reaction to get over and reach, get that puck that was right at the goal line before it got poked in. That's that first shot. There's the first save and then covered up the other one. With a little help from his friends behind him. There's that first save. Great shot there. But there's the puck loose and he's quick enough to get there.
6 have gotten behind him tonight, and you'd still walk away saying he might have been the most impressive player on the ice tonight. Rippey to center, got by Blake. Blake back to pick up for Anoka. Watched by Dugan, leaves it for Berencott. He fell. Froyland throws it out front of his own net. Anoka's able to clear. Dugan wraps it back in. Berencott back to pick it up. Watched by Digatano, plays it to Froyland. Now it's kept in. Oh, Olsen bounced it through the crease. Dugan dumps into the corner. Blake picks it up. Both teams starting to look tired. Blake finally clears. Rippey plays back to center for the Rebels. Berencott was going off on a change and played the puck. Probably should have been a penalty against Anoka. Official was right there, chose not to call it. Cole, nifty stick work, cuts right in, saved by Ledeen. And the net is loose, face-off coming in the Rebel zone. Keith, you're once again a lonely man down in the neighborhood of Mark Chevalier. All the action in front of Timmy Ledeen.
Well, that's what happens when you get all the action in the second period. I was on that end before, and I saw all the goals scored. They're avoiding me this period. That's all I can figure out. I haven't even seen any jerseys down on my end.
Rebels are in blue. Tornadoes are in white. It's 6-5 in favor of the Tornadoes. Rebels have 5 minutes to try and tie it up. Centering pass taken away by Cole. Gloved and dropped by Sawicki. Sawicki centers. Curtis rolls one. Oh, Chevalier steers it to the corner. Not much of a shot. Semling couldn't keep it in. Face-off coming in the neutral zone.
Come on, Johnny.
Oh, my. The Rebels nearly got a cheap one there as it bounced in. And Chevalier just kicked it aside. Watch it again. Should be a great angle.
Once again, you throw it towards the net to make things happen. That was the case there. Sawicki with a great play just to get it out in front. Just getting a little bit of a piece of it there. And it rolled just wide of Chevalier.
Reinholtz knocks it down. Rebel coaches wanted it to be called a high stick. They don't get it. Semling keeps it in. Semling has a man in the slot! broken up, and he got it back and flips it by Chevalier.
In the third period yesterday, in the second round, it was Matt Semling coming up with a big goal that started a comeback. This time, he comes through with another one. With a quick reaction there, tried to put in the centering pass. Take a good look at it here. You'll see him get around the defense. Tries to make a centering pass. It's blocked, but he reacts quickly. Chevalier goes down to block it. There's room up high. Semling had the presence of mind to take a top shelf just underneath the crossbar and put it away for the tying goal.
Semling unassisted at 10:25. We are even at 6. Keith, what a break for Semling, but the puck was blocked by the defenseman.
Well, a huge break. You'll remember right before that at the last whistle, the puck was being cleared from the Anoka zone, and Semling kept it in on the boards. And actually, I think he kept it in. The whistle blew it offside. He was a little upset at that point. Only a matter of seconds later, he keeps the puck in, makes a little rush, comes up with one quick shot, and he was persistent. He followed it, and I had a good angle. I thought all the way along, I go, all he has to do is go top shelf, and that's exactly what he did. Chevalier didn't even move.
Tarmo, we talked yesterday about the last time the Rebels scored 6 goals. The last time they got 7 was Game 3 against Moundsview, a 7-4 Rebel win. The last time they gave up 6, barring a couple of shellackings by Elk River, was a 6-1 loss against Blaine.
Well, they're certainly picking against the best competition, the number 1 and 2 seeds in the section. They knocked off number 2, and they're trying to get number 1 now.
Poe tried to cut to the slot, taken away by Rickerson. Clear to the line, Hennis kept it in. Dugan pokes it free. Dugan up the right wing, watched by Barancott. Centers! Oh, Digatano was all alone. Chevalier intercepted the pass. Blake clears all the way down, icing against Anoka. 4:02 to play. A year ago, these two met in the quarterfinal. It was an 8-7 overtime win for Anoka. We joked about it tonight. Will we see another 8-7? Well, might be 7-6.
I think tonight's game is a little bit better played, though, than the last one, and certainly the emotion very high. Big play that time by Chevalier. Man, Digatano was wide open in front of the net. If Chevalier had not gotten it, it would have been an awfully good scoring chance.
Sawicki threw it out front. Anoka suddenly looks like the team on the run. Champlin dominating here late third period. Justin Reinholtz to center for Peterson. Peterson has Braun with him. Here's Braun, fires Ledeen with a save. Face-off coming in the Rebel zone. 3:36 remaining, regulation time. Tornadoes 6, Rebels 6. The winner advances to the state tournament.
The winner has a chance to go somewhere in the state tournament this year, too. You don't have as big a domination this time around. Getting to the state tournament actually gives you a shot at the title.
Dugan centers, broken up by Hennis. Hennis starts back for Anoka. Olsen tried to center. Bender has it. Bender ridden off the puck by Dugan. Poe for Forbes. Forbes carries across the blue line into the Rebel zone. Forbes still with it. Works against Goodrich. Centered. Poe tried to deflect it in. Forbes with a wraparound. And Ledeen stopped him. Goodrich into the corner, out to the point. Blake fires. It goes wide. Rebound controlled by the Rebels. They clear to center. Dugan lost it. Hennis starts back for Anoka. His pass hit a skate. Barancott carries in. Lays it in behind the net. Rickerson is there. Digatano with it. Sawicki joins. Tried to dig it loose, couldn't. Dugan has it. Oh, he was trying to spring Sawicki. Blake gloves it, drops it, centers. Cole fires, and he's stopped again by Ledeen. Barancott at center to Hennis. Loose puck grabbed by Sawicki. Left wing pass for Dugan. Dugan ripped out by Barancott. Plays it around behind. Relay to the line by Hennis. Rippey tried to clear, couldn't. Rippey gets it back, fires it in. Barancott will pick it up. Barancott back of the net, brings it around the near side. Forbes has it. Intercepted by Curtis. Curtis cutting in.
And Champlin Park is taking the lead 7-6.
Sawicki from Curtis at 13-17. A 6-point night for Chuck Sawicki. And for the second night in a row, the Rebels have hung a 4 spot in the third period. Keith, yet another rebound goal and a heads-up play by Chuck Sawicki.
That's the story of the game so far, rebound goals. How many goals have we seen scored on just clean shots from the point? I don't think it's happened yet tonight. Rebounds are definitely the key, and coaches are well aware of that coming in, but it's just been a case where there's been relentless forechecking, and there's not enough guys to go around on defense to match up with the offensive players. There again, it was just a good aggressive forecheck by that Sawicki line, and there's Sawicki cashes in on the rebound.
Anoka has already used their timeout, so they'll change goaltenders at the 1:21 mark and enter Blair Johnson. This was the only section in the state in Class AA that did not return at least one team to the final this year. And these two have provided us with some thrilling moments tonight.
And it isn't over yet, is it? 1 minute and 21 seconds for this powerful Anoka team. Mr. Ledeen is getting his rest down at the other end right now. There you see Blair Johnson warming up for Anoka. Down at the other end, you can take a look at Tim Ledeen there getting a rest. There's Tim looking around, just kind of standing around day at the park there.
We're to score from over at Mariucci Arena. St. Paul Johnson 2, South St. Paul 2 after 2. Of course, we'll be down at Mariucci tomorrow night for our grand finale this year here on KABL. The Section 3 AA final between Hillbury and White Bear. If we have half the excitement we've had tonight, it'll be a great finish.
Something tells me we will have at least half the excitement we have. An outstanding matchup between two very old and bitter rivals.
And of course, fans, you'll be able to stay with all section finals right here on KABL. Prep Sports Weekly next Monday night. We'll have highlights of most. Reinholtz plays to the corner. How long will they leave Johnson on the ice? Hennis has it taken away by Rippey. Cleared around to the point. Blake kept it in. Dugan clears to center. No icing. It's on goal. Johnson leaves it back in the net. Justin Reinholtz wraps it out. Stripped away by Dugan. Here come the Tornadoes. Reinholtz rolled in by Cole Ledeen. Covers up. Face-off coming in the Rebel zone. 46 seconds to play.
Big play there by Dugan. But that puck came out over the line, and he was able to backhand it and get it on goal. Big gamble because he didn't want that icing call, but got it on goal, forced Johnson to play it. That shoot up some more time.
Hennis fired. Back of the net. Cole couldn't get a stick on it. 30 seconds to go. Here's Hennis. Hennis still with it. A lot of traffic out front. Forbes back of the net. And we're going to have a face-off in the Champlin zone. The net had come loose. 27 seconds remaining. The winner advances to the state tournament where they will meet either Edina or Eden Prairie in the 7 o'clock game on Thursday night. The goaltender has been pulled. The extra attacker on for the Tornadoes. 27 seconds to play. The faceoff controlled by the Tornadoes. Hennis chases it down in the corner. He's ridden off the puck, gets backhanded out of play. We'll get another faceoff in the Rebel zone. These faceoffs are always dangerous. 18 seconds to go.
Champlin really hoping for a call there. That's what they're talking about now. That puck deflected up out of play. Champlin saying it went off the Anoka player and out, which would bring the faceoff outside the blue line. But the officials are calling it there.
I think what they're calling is that it was touched simultaneously by the players on each side.
Right.
The Tarmo fan club is back again. They reside in Champlin Park tonight. Cole draws against Olsen. Olsen clears it. 14 seconds to go. Reinholtz has to go back in his net. Around to Hennis. John Cole at center. St. Paul. For the first time in school history, they will play in the state tournament against the winner of the Edina Eden Prairie Section 6 AA Championship. And Ryan Forbes, John Coe, John Hennis and company see their careers end without a trip to downtown St. Paul.
And as happy as you feel for the Champlin Park players, you really feel it for the Anoka team taking this very, very hard players still down on the ice. It's tough to lose a game like this.
What a night for the Rebels. Chuck Sawicki, 6 points tonight. He came in with just 22 on the year. The Rebels hadn't scored 7 goals in a game since game 3. And Justin Reinholtz won a state football championship last fall and had dreams of a football or of a hockey title this winter. But they fall a game short of a trip downtown.
What an incredible turnaround here. I think we thought Blaine certainly would be the team coming in here and getting a shot at Anoka, and then felt that if Blaine didn't get in here, it might be that much easier for Anoka. That didn't turn out to be the case. The Champlin team just kept plugging and plugging away. How many times in that first and second period did it look like we were on our way to a rout? They had that lead, but they couldn't get that extra goal to put it away.
Anoka had a 3-goal lead and 6-3 late in the second period. Maybe the biggest goal of the night was the one scored by Goodrich at 9:32 of the second period to make it 6-4 heading into the final 15 minutes. And what a job Dave Notaro has done here. In the third year of varsity hockey, his team is on their way to the state tournament.
6 wins the first season, went up to 12 wins, I believe, in their second season. And now the 16th win sends them to their first state tournament.
Tim Ledeen, awesome again tonight. He had given up 6 goals in the first 2 periods, but he was a stone wall in the third.
Pretty rare that you will pick one of your players of the game to be a goaltender giving up 6. But he made the big saves, never gave up the killer.
On a team loaded with killers. Ryan Forbes, a great night tonight, 4 points. He had 9 points in the playoffs for the Tornadoes, but it wasn't enough tonight. Champlin wins it 7-6.
What are the thoughts going through the mind of the fellow who's in charge of the Section 3 tournament? That man right there, Terry Abram, athletic director at Anoka, longtime hockey man. You know, he's finding this difficult too.
A year ago, it was the Rebels sweeping the season series, only to lose in overtime to Anoka in the quarterfinals. And this year the tables turn. Anoka sweeps the season series and the Rebels return the favor. Ryan Forbes passing along congratulations to the Rebels. Forbes scored the game winner that bounced them a year ago, and this year his 2 goals weren't enough.
What a game and what a high school career for that man, Ryan Forbes. Despite what happened here tonight, he almost single-handedly put his team out to a lead they couldn't hold. Another outstanding season for him and a great career here for the Tornadoes.
A big weekend and a couple of weeks for the second line of the Tornadoes, Donette, Jared Reinholtz, and Froyland. But tonight they were shut down. Keith, I think it's impossible to put into words what the Rebels have accomplished here this week.
Oh, it certainly is, and only his 3rd year. Like you said, you guys were talking about Coach Notaro. What a huge step for the whole Rebel hockey program, making it to the state tournament. And it's not going to matter whether they win or lose or how they do down there. This is a huge step for the success of in the future of the Rebel hockey program.
They were seeded 3rd in this year's tournament. They were outshot 33-15 in the first round by Armstrong, but came away with a 3-1 victory. They were outshot by Blaine in the second round, and yet came away with a 6-4 win on 4 third-period goals. And tonight, 4 more in the 3rd period. Give the Rebels a 7-6 win, and they will now celebrate their section championship. Valuable player of this year's tournament. He was incredible down the stretch. And a team advancing to the state tournament that hasn't outshot an opponent since Christmas time, that says enough about the play of their goaltender.
Carried them so much along the way. Other players have contributed where they can, but Ledeen is the one that has carried them. And we'll take them into the state tournament. I made that point earlier where getting there means something. They're going to play either Edina or Eden Prairie. Both of those are outstanding hockey teams, but both of those are teams that they have a chance at beating and getting into the state Final Four.
They're in a tough bracket. I think the tougher of the two, either Eden Prairie or Edina, then the winner between Duluth East and the winner of the Jefferson Apple Valley matchup in the Section 5 AA final. But I tell you what, anything is possible for this Rebel team the way they're playing right now. To come back with 4 third-period goals against Todd Kelsenberg, then 4 more against Mark Chevalier. 2 outstanding goaltenders and an incredible couple of nights for this Rebel team.
Well, and again, if you don't get a lot of shots on goal, you can certainly help yourself if you have a good touch around the net, and they obviously do that. They move it well down low. They know to go to the net. They know to have the sticks down. They're very well disciplined around there, and if you give them an opportunity, a rebound, a chance to make a pass, they will bury you. They're not going to make all those pretty end-to-end rushes. But they're dangerous around the net. And the other area they're dangerous is, as you can see with the confidence they got in the goaltending, that they have a tendency to cheat sometimes and send that forward floating down there. And you have those cases where it's shot after shot at one end, and all of a sudden you got 2-on-1 because you're gambling at the other end. And if you give them a 2-on-1, they're going to put it away.
They create more breakaway chances than any team in the section. And they stop more with Tim Ledeen. Let's not forget the back-to-back stops on Ryan Forbes while they were shorthanded. That could have opened this back up to a 7-4 game late in the second period. The Rebels are champions in Section 4AA, and the crowd excited about the school's first trip to a state tournament. While the Rebels rejoice, we'll step aside. Stay with us. Our post-game show is just beginning. This is the Section 4AA final on KABL.
Mary.
Uh-huh.
Mary, Mary.
Dear, funny Mary.
Mary, Mary, Mary.
Oh, forget it.
Mary, 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 Mary.
Here I am.
Mary, Mary, Mary.
I know, I know.
Mary, Mary.
Oh, Mary, you're just so Mary.
Mary.
What show is this for, anyway?
The Mary Tyler Moore Show.
The final tonight, Rebels 7, Tornadoes 6. Champlin Park advances to the state tournament for the first time in school history. They will battle either Edina or Eden Prairie in the state's first round. Shortly, we'll be joining Keith Ebensteiner down on the floor of the Coliseum. He'll be trying to corral some of the victors. And of course, we'd like to hear from Ryan Forbes, John Coe. What great careers at Anoka. You can't say enough about what they accomplished here over the last 4 seasons.
They really have outstanding time here at their years at Anoka. I don't know how much of a chance we're going to have to talk to them because They're a very competitive group of guys, and I know they're taking this loss very hard here. But it's just been fun to watch them. It's interesting to watch John Coe develop here over the last couple of years, from a third-line type player to the outstanding scorer he was this year, going on now to play Division I hockey out east.
Well, I see some of the Tornado players heading off. John Berencott heading over. Perhaps Keith can grab him and get a word from the first-year Tornado head coach. I'm sure he has to be very frustrated tonight, but yet let's remember what this team accomplished. This is a team that had been, as he stated, underachievers for the last couple of seasons. And this year they turned it around. They won all the close ones. They were 8-0-2 in overtime games, 10-1-2 in one-goal games coming into tonight. Tonight they couldn't get it done, and unfortunately it happens to be in the night that it was the most important.
Well, they got themselves organized there in the early games of the non-conference and really proved themselves well in conference play. Essentially in the conference there, it's almost like playing for second place because nobody could do anything with Elk River. Anoka couldn't get past them either, but they were able to handle everyone else, play well defensively, a little better defensively, I think, than they had sometimes in the past, especially from last year. And all around solid year, played well in the first 2 rounds here and just ran into a team that seemed to be destined this year, just wasn't going to be defeated.
Well, I see Keith having caught maybe the biggest catch of them all tonight, and that is the man who scored 6 points in tonight's game, Chuck Sawicki. He was awesome throughout the game, made so many things happen, and Tarmo, as you stated, this team is quite simply opportunistic. Let's go down to Keith right now and see what Chuck has to say.
Well, you're right, Anthony. He was simply awesome tonight. The leader of the Rebels ended up with 6 points and a hat trick. First of all, congratulations, Chuck.
Oh, thanks very much. It's unbelievable.
It's got to be a great feeling. Nobody really gave the Rebels a chance. They came in as a number 7 seed, but you certainly proved, not only when you beat Blaine, but here tonight beating the Tornadoes.
Yeah, well, at the end of the season, we finally decided we had to come together as a team, and since then, we haven't been beat as we had a meeting with our team. We haven't been beat since then, and hopefully we won't be beat anymore.
And once again, you came back in traditional style. You were down by 3 goals halfway through the second period, and yet you came back.
It's unbelievable. God has to be with us. I prayed so hard. I can't believe this. Thanks to everybody on our team. We gave it all. We don't have the best players, but we gave it all we got. We got all the heart we can get.
That last goal is a perfect example of the way you played all night. Just pure hard work. Tell us about it.
I don't know. I just got lucky, I guess. I mean, with all my line mates, Eric Kurz, Ben Pegg, couldn't do anything. They're all rebound goals, and I got lucky, I guess. But right spot at the right time. That's where you got to be.
Well, thanks a lot, Chuck. We'll let you get back to the locker room and celebrate.
Thanks very much.
Good luck. Well, you heard it. Not the biggest player, but he had the biggest game tonight. No doubt about it. A hat trick and 3 assists, like you said, Anthony. Back to you.
8 points in the playoffs for Sawicki, and that second line was really the key tonight, Tarmo. They got it done, and they did it in big-time fashion. Mike Dugan was shut down most of the night, but it was Sawicki, Curtis, and Pagel that stepped up and became the team's top line tonight.
And they just kept working hard all the way through. We talked beforehand about how it was always Mike Dugan having to come up with the big goals, and Anoka really seemed to key on him tonight. He just wasn't getting the kind of open ice that he'd gotten other times. This time Sawicki stepped up, the other guys stepped up. They made the big plays when they had to.
Keith is now joined by who has been their go-to guy throughout the season, Mike Dugan. Take it away, Keith.
Well, Mike, you've been the main guy all season long. The team really gelled here. Come section play, an outstanding game.
Oh, thanks a lot. It's a lot of fun to play our arch rivals here in the final. And God, the guys just turned it up in the third period. It's amazing. I mean, what these guys can do when they put their heart to it, it's incredible. It got to amaze everybody, I guess.
And I think heart is the key word. The team really showed just how big it was in the second period when you were down by 3 goals, but you never gave up.
Oh, no. Our goalie kept us in it so bad, and we just knew we had to get shots. I mean, Mark is a nice kid, but, I mean, if we get shots on him, we're right back in this game. That's exactly what we did.
And not often when Ladine gives up as many goals as he did tonight would he be happy, but he certainly turned away a lot of tough shots as well.
Yeah, that's true. He saved his fair share. He's carried us the whole season, and third period he carried us again, and what more can you ask from a guy?
You're certainly right. And how about that tying goal from your defenseman, Matt Semling? He made a nifty move. Guys that big aren't supposed to come up with moves that nifty.
Oh, yeah, he can dangle with the best of them. He works all summer on that, and he lost a lot of weight over the summer, this summer, or whatever. But he's one of the best I've ever seen at defense.
Well, we'll let you get back to your celebration as well. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Back up top. I'll stay here right for a moment, and we'll grab some more players as they're going by. We'll wait patiently for Ledeen until he comes off the ice. He's the last one, waving to everybody.
Keith, what a night Ledeen had tonight for the Rebels. Here he comes, but he had just an awesome night tonight. I'm sure we're anxious to hear what he has to say.
He certainly is. Congratulations, first of all, to him on a fantastic night.
Thanks, it's great. Best night of my life right now.
Your team really showed a lot of poise. The way they battled back, they found themselves down. You stayed in, kept your head in it, and you were faced a lot of tough shots from there on and turned them away.
Yeah, our team was came back against Blaine last game, so this game was no big deal for us, and we knew we could do it. We had it in our hearts, so we knew we could do it.
Is it somewhat of an advantage coming in as the underdog? The pressure wasn't on you.
Yeah, it is. I think it really is. Our team played our heart so much today, like never ever before. So, best game ever.
Well, we'll let you get back to the locker room. Congratulations on an outstanding season. Well, we're going to take a quick break here. We'll be back with a wrap-up in just a moment.
It's not the Broadway stage, not even off-Broadway. And chances are, what gets performed here won't become the longest-running hit show of all time. This is the River Ridge High School Auditorium in Sutton, Colorado. But to the 12 members of the drama club, the performances are just as difficult and the audience reaction just as critical as anything done anywhere. Because what's at stake for the students is not applause or playing to a packed house, but discovering something special inside, something that stays with them long after the show closes. When you support the kinds of activities in your high school that help turn kids into adults, everyone takes a bow.
Guy takes a shot. Meyer stopped it, didn't know where it was. And a shot. What a big save by Meyer as Mark Smith nearly put the Pirates in victory. Murray wins the race, centers. What a sensational save by Gregoire in the Moorhead net. Miller to Berg. Berg with a shot, and Kelsenberg made a big save.
Well, we're back here at the Coliseum with the winning coach. Coach Notaro, you have to be absolutely ecstatic with the way your team battled back from down 3 goals.
Well, that's the beauty of it. But you know, after the game and going through that line there and seeing the heads hanging down, we're pretty close teams. We practice under the same ice, and it's going to take some of the beauty out of it away. And yeah, we're very proud of the way we came back. We did it the other night. We did it tonight. And, I couldn't be any more proud of those kids.
It's kind of hard on a coach's nerves, though, when you have to come from behind, right?
Well, you know, we came here for the gold, and that's all we were going to settle for.
And like I said, you found yourself down, but boy, Ledeen came up with some huge saves. As the game went on, he got warmer, hotter and hotter.
The problem with us is that we kind of leave him kind of naked in front of the net sometimes, and they get a lot of goals on it that aren't his fault. We just were bent on taking care of that defensive zone, tightening it up a little bit, and back-checking a lot harder than we had in the first period and a half.
Sawicki and company, an outstanding game for checking. They struggled a little bit in the first period, but after that, they really turned things up a notch, and they were flying here as the game came to an end.
Well, you know, when your back's against the wall in the third period like that, it's fight or flight, and we decided to fight.
Well, thanks a lot, Coach. Congratulations on a big win for the Champlin team.
Okay, there you go. That was a great team that we played, and a lot of kids that I know from that team, and it's credit to those kids. They hung in there and played hard, too.
Thanks a lot, Coach. We'll let you back to the locker room. We're going to go to Anthony. Anthony has Coach Berncott from the Anoka Tornadoes.
Hey, thanks, Keith. We're here with the head coach, John Berncott. And, Coach, it's a cliche, but this is one of those games that it's tough for either team to lose because it was such a great hockey game.
Yeah, I think it really was exciting. I mean, the intensity was there. The effort on both teams were there. You know, it's from our perspective, it didn't come out the way we wanted it, but you know, I don't know. I feel bad, but that's part of athletics, I guess.
Well, and as you say, the fall is tougher when it's a team that cares the most, and when they put the most into it, it makes the losing that much more difficult to take.
Yeah, we really, these group of kids really made a big commitment to this season. We had 10 seniors, many of them, well, Ryan and Joel played 4 years, John Coe, Justin, and Johnny Hennis 3 years, you know, and plus we had 6 other seniors, and to make that big commitment, and I guess, you know, you look back, eventually we'll say our season was pretty good, but when you get this close, and that's your #1 goal when you start in November, is to get to the Civic Center, and then you know, have a lot of momentum going in that second period, and even feeling good about the third, and you just come out and, you know, I give them Champlin Park a lot of credit. They kept working hard, and we made a few mistakes, and they capitalized on them, and on the other end, you know, we had a few shots, and Timmy Ledeen came up big for them, and you know, I think if we'd have got one more goal, it, you know, might have ended up the other way, but it's tough that way, I guess.
It's somewhat peculiar that you talk about a 7-6 game, and yet maybe the first player that's mentioned is Tim Ledeen, because he did a great job in that third period when, as you say, your team was on the verge of delivering what probably would have been the knockout punch.
Yeah, I really thought if we could get a goal maybe in that first 5 minutes of that second or third period that we would be able to, you know, 3-goal lead, then we could maybe play a little more defense. We didn't, you know, we have pretty good defensive coverage all year, and we kind of broke down on that, but on the other hand, you don't want to sit back in a shell and you know, let them, you know, keep coming in your zone and stuff. So we kind of, you know, we wanted to be aggressive, we wanted to be smart, but we just didn't, you know, I don't know what it was. We just didn't seem to really click there the last, you know, 8-10 minutes of the third period. So that, you know, I guess that's one of those things.
Well, and this is the type of game that your team was able to win all season. You told me before the game that you came in here and took over trying to turn a team of underachievers into overachievers, and part of that is the ability to win the close, emotional games. You hadn't lost an overtime game all year. You'd only lost one one-goal game. This is the kind of game that your team made a living off of winning this season.
That's true, and I think, you know, it really gave us some momentum and a good feeling about ourselves throughout the season. I mean, you win half of those games, and it's not quite so, the record's not quite so well, and maybe you don't feel quite so good about yourself. But it just seems like, you know, the games we lost, I bet you, I think 3 or 4 of them we gave up 7 goals. That's a bad number for us, I guess, is 7. And you know, 7-2 to Roseau, 7-6 to Park Center, 7-2 to Roseville, you know, so 7-2 to Elk River. You know, so, but I just thought if we could score 5 or 6 goals, I really was pretty confident that we'd win the game. Champlin Park struggled all year scoring. They seem to have found a knack for it the last couple of games here against ourselves and Blaine, where they came up with 5 goals there and 7 here. So, you know, that's kind of playoff hockey, and I guess, you know, it's kind of what makes the state tournament and the dreams what kids want it to be. I mean, I know we have a locker room full of tough, you know, kids crying, and some real, probably nobody's equipment's off yet, you know. And on the other hand, Champlin Park is whooping it up, and deservingly so. But I guess those are the things that the playoffs and the sectionals and the whole thing goes. You know, it goes with it, the good and the bad. And right now, it's the bad for sure for us.
Well, you came back here, you took over a team that had been labeled as underachievers. You turned them into winners this season, and as you look back now, obviously you didn't accomplish the ultimate goal, which was to reach the state tournament, but you have to look back on this year and call it a success.
Yeah, right now it's a little harder, but, you know, I look back and, you know, I have a son that's a sophomore and one that would have graduated last year from Anoka that went and played for the Vulcans, and you know, and you covered Anoka. I mean, there's more self-destruct through penalties and lack of effort. And I really think that what we tried to do this year is just get a commitment, a solid commitment out of the kids, and develop a good work ethic. And you know, I knew the talent of the kids that were coming through, and you know, I felt we could go to the state tournament. And you know, we came real close. And reflecting back, yeah, you know, I think we put some respectability back in Anoka hockey. Maybe not so much by not winning this game, but just the style of play we played. I think the penalties were cut down. I think our players showed a lot of class, a lot of character throughout the season, and you know, so from I guess an educational standpoint, that was a plus. From the winning standpoint, I'd maybe take one more penalty for 2 more goals right now, but you know, that's how it goes. So I guess that, you know, Yeah, I'm sure in a month or when we have the banquet, it'll be a little more, festive. But right now, and when any team that gets to the section final, and I guess we were favored, and maybe rightly so. But it's so hard. Even if you're not favored and you come in and lose when you're that close, you see the clips on TV, you hear about the players who played in the tournament and things like this, and and every kid in Minnesota probably when they start out wants to get there, and it definitely hurts. And like I told the kids, I'm 43 years old and I never got to play in it, and I was wishing to go this year. So it's one of those things that, I think everybody, a hockey person in Minnesota, wants that thrill, and makes it difficult.
All right, Coach. Well, we thank you for coming out and joining us tonight, and best of luck in the future with whatever it is you choose to do. Congratulations on a good year.
Okay, thanks, Anthony.
That's Coach John Burincott of the Anoka Tornadoes. They lose a tough one tonight, 7-6. Stay with us. We'll have some final thoughts from the Coliseum in just a moment.
Thursday nights, the only movies to see are on TNT. I love TNT. We take a great movie like Rebel Without a Cause.
You're tearing me apart!
Pair it up with a host like leader of the pack, John Goodman. Hey, baby. And It's Just That Simple. Great movies we all love. Hosted by stars who love them too. That's our favorite movies. Thursday nights on TNT.
The Rebels get the tying goal in the third period from Matt Semling, and they get the game winner from who else but Chuck Sawicki. He had 6 points on the night, 3 goals, 3 assists, and he helps the Rebels to a 7-6 upset in the Section 4 AA final. Welcome back to the Coliseum with Tarmo Kubitz and Keith Ebensteiner. I'm Anthony LaPanta. Hope you've enjoyed the game thus far. Thank you for staying with us. And Tarmo, it's impossible to put into perspective what happened here tonight. The Rebels came out of nowhere. They're the number 3 seed, only in their 3rd season of varsity hockey, and yet they're on their way to the Civic Center.
Well, how many times were they buried? They were pretty well out of it midway through their second round game. They came back to win that. They were hanging on the ropes in this one. How big was that pipe or non-pipe that Ryan Forbes hit on the breakaway when you look back at it? They looked like they were done, and they just kept chipping away, got the one goal, and I guess the other big thing is that all during that time, Anoka never scored again. The defense held on, the goaltending held on, and Anoka scores a lot of goals. Holding them off for half a game like they did is quite a bit.
And that second line was awesome tonight. Sawicki stepped up, Curtis, Pagel. They really were the difference in tonight's game.
They really were. We talked so much about the first line and how they were the dominant line for this team, and the second line just picked it up. Sawicki just had an outstanding game. Besides his 6 points, he was all over the ice. He was hitting and he was passing, setting up plays. He was upsetting a few of the Anoka players. Just all around had a dominant game from the guy who was probably the smallest player on the ice.
Well, and Keith, you can't say enough throughout this sectional tournament about the great careers and the great accomplishments of these Anoka seniors, but they fall short of advancing to a state tournament.
They certainly do. It's a tough loss, and some of them were saying on the way by, if there's anything that does come out of it positive, the fact is that these are their neighbors. They grew up playing on the same rinks as little kids with the Champlin Park team, so they're happy for them deep down. Tomorrow, at least they'll say, hey, at least our friends are going on to the state tournament. But it is a tough loss. Like we said, the nucleus of this team has been together for 3 years, and they've always had kind of against them. The strike against them has always been the label potential. Like we said early in the show, potential. I mean, they've been talking about that for years and years. So they've really, everybody else, the public's put a lot of pressure on the Tornado team coming into this year. They actually played their best hockey all this year, and I don't think it's a letdown just because they were the favorite coming in, but they had a very successful year.
And Mark Chevalier storms off the ice tonight, obviously frustrated. He gives up 7 goals in a 7-6 loss, but you certainly wouldn't look at this and say the goaltending lacked, and that's why it was 7-6.
Not at all. The goaltenders, they're always worried about their goals against average. A game like tonight is hard on that. nobody cares about that. But if you look back at the tape of all the goals that were scored, almost none of the goals were scored on the first shot. I don't know if any of them were. They were all on rebound shots, and when both teams are forechecking as aggressively as they are and they're going 4 deep with only one defenseman back on the blue line, there's a numbers game that comes into play there, and you can't cover everybody around the net. Both teams were the benefit of swarming the net.
And it proves that hard work does indeed pay off. Champlin Parks advancing to the Civic Center. They win this Section 4AA championship. Final score once again is 7-6. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage of the Section 4AA tournament. We'd like to remind you that tonight's broadcast was brought to you in part by our friends at Rocky Rococo. On Snelling, call 631-0696. It's the official Section 4AA Puckhead Hangout. Rocky Rococo's at 631-0696. That's going to do it for our coverage of the Section 4AA hockey tournament. For Keith Ebensteiner, Tarmo Kubitz, and the rest of the KABL sports crew, we thank you for joining us throughout. And as we leave you, we'd like to take one more look back at the Section 4AA tournament. So long, everyone. lifted by